Have you given your walking boot a voice?
I've not.
Does it sound like, hey, Max, put your stinky little toes inside.
Hey, it's a me, Max.
Hey, Max, you're going to get so fat.
Oh, Italy is a boot.
Yeah.
You got the entire country of Italy on your foot right
Hey,
now.
Max, why don't you get a couple meatballs?
Put some meatballs in your sake.
Yeah. Warm up your toesies with some meatballs and some sauce. On today's Pardon My Take, we have a twofer for the people. We have our good friend Kirk Herbstreit on the show to talk college football playoffs. We also have incredible actor Walter Hauser on the show. Big fan of his. PFT is a big fan of his.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to talk everything with him. We have Hot Seat Cool Throne. We're going to talk Monday Night Football, unfortunately. We're going to do FAQs, some great FAQs from the listeners. We got a Max update on his foot, and it's all brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. From monster slams to draining threes at the buzzer, watching our favorite NBA players is the gift that keeps on giving, and playing Pick 6 from DraftKings, an official partner of the NBA, is a way to take a shot at even more cash prizes. It's super simple to get started. Select 2 or more players and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat, like points, rebounds, three-pointers, and more. Track your picks for a shot at huge cash prizes. That's all there is to it. Pick 6 is available in most states, including California, Texas, Georgia, Missouri, and more. And speaking of gifts, for all first-time Pick 6 players, check this out. New customers, play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. The fun of the NBA season continues. The simplest way to play for a little shot to win big. Pick 6 from DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code TAKE. That's code TAKE for new customers to play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Happy holidays from DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Pardon My Take, presented by DraftKings. The fun of the NBA season continues with the simplest way to play for a shot to win big. Pick 6 from DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. Use code TAKE. That's code TAKE for new customers to play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Happy holidays from DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Today is Wednesday, December 18th, and I don't even know what to say.
I'm sorry that you're going through this. And I'm sorry that, really what I'm sorry that we're all going through together is, wait, are you talking about the Bears?
Yeah, I'm talking about the Bears. I don't know what to say.
Okay,
I don't know what to say.
I'm sorry that they keep putting the fucking Bears on national television.
Yeah.
In prime time.
They've beaten it all out of me. Like let me start with this. I could not have been more wrong with everything I said this summer. I've said it, I've copped to that many times, but let me just do it one more time, just so that people hear it again. I could not have been more wrong. I got so excited. I got so hyped that things were going to change. Nothing is going to change with this organization. It will always be this way. They will always be based on bad fundamentals and hoping they get lucky from time to time, and nothing done the right way. And I'm now officially worried that like Caleb Williams might be like, I need to be traded, because I still have hope for Caleb Williams. He has looked bad. He did not look good on Monday night, but he also, like, everything is broken. The offensive line is so much worse than I expected. The defense without Eberflus is now, which is a very funny like twist, knife twist, that the defense was being held together by Eberflus.
Mm-hmm. Should Matt Eberflus be coach of the year?
Maybe. I don't know how they ever won 4 games. This was supposed to be year 3 of a rebuild that was going to do things the right way and change the course of this organization. It is nowhere close to that. It is closer to year 1 of the rebuild than it is year 3. We've gone completely backwards. I don't know. There's no path forward, because the owners are going to be the owners. George McCaskey sitting there staring, thinking in his head like, oh, my mommy's going to be so mad at me when I get home. She's going to say she's so angry. These owners do not care about winning football games. They do not care about running an organization the correct way. They are a joke. They have all but ruined their golden goose, because I think I speak for a lot of the fans where it's like, this is just time and time again, we get to this point of the season where we're on a nationally televised stage and the team is an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment, top to bottom embarrassment. And I don't know how much more I can take it. I don't know how much more a lot of people can take it. And nothing's going to change, because now they're stuck with a spot where they need a coach. They have a GM who I like personally. I like Ryan Poles personally. I've made that clear. I don't think he's good for the job anymore, not only because the team has gone backwards, but it feels like he has no power, and also he was probably the person who hired Matt Eberflus and kept him around, and that is an egregious miscalculation, especially the keeping him with Caleb Williams. Ryan Poles should go, and then with Ryan Poles gone, Kevin Warren is now in charge, and he's a fucking doofus. So I don't really know what to do. We should start fresh. They should fire Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren and start completely fresh. They won't do that. They'll either keep Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren, fire Ryan Poles, keep Kevin Warren, and it's just going to be a mess, and nothing's ever going to change. And I told Max and Memes this earlier. I'm officially retiring from ever getting to a 10 out of 10 excitement for the Chicago Bears until something changes.
What changes? Because
ownership, probably.
Anything could change.
We were talking about it. This summer, I was a 10 out of 10 excited. I will not let myself get a 10 out of 10 excited. That doesn't mean I'm not going to root really hard for them and want them to do well. I'm not going to let myself get 10 out of 10 excited ever again until it's proven on the field that something has changed. So like Max said, what if you hire Vrabel? My response would be, that's good.
Yeah, right.
It would be, what about Ben Johnson?
That seems good.
You hire Mike Vrabel to coach the defense and Ben Johnson to coach the offense.
For the Bears?
For the Bears.
Oh, that's pretty good. See, I just went to pretty. That's
What if you
6.
start 7-0 next year?
We'll see. It probably won't last. Lovey's last year, I think we started 7-0 or 8-1.
What if you
Fell
start
off a cliff.
5-2 this year?
No. Pretty good.
They almost did start 5-2 this
Yeah,
year.
no, that was mean.
No, I know what he was doing. I know what he was doing.
What if you got a new stadium done and it's perfect?
I mean, Kevin Warren's not going to do shit. Guy's a fucking doofus.
What if
And Ryan Poles is not, I mean, this roster is so bad. Like, I thought they were so much better. I was blinded. I'm stupid. I'm a moron. I was wrong. Weapons, but no offensive line. Defensive line's bad. Coach sucked. Caleb's a rookie quarterback. He's been up and down. Even the littlest thing of firing Matt Eberflus, which I wanted, and you had 3 games in a row where you had fired Shane Waldron, Thomas Brown had went upstairs to be OC, Caleb had looked good in those 3 games. It was the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions game. So it was obviously hit or miss. The first half of the Lions game, not great, but he had moments where it looked like ball getting out faster. Everything's kind of looking a little bit better. Then they put Thomas Brown on the sideline. I don't know if that matters, but it feels like you had one thing that was going a little bit well, not even good, a little bit well, and you changed it.
Okay, what if you hire Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel, Jameis Winston backup quarterback?
Oh, that's nice.
If you score in the first half.
Oh, wow. That won't stay.
You trade for Kyle Shanahan.
We haven't scored in the first half in fucking years.
What if the Bears said, we heard a real smart idea out there from our friend Big Cat via Troy Aikman, via Mike Florio, and we traded for Kyle Shanahan. He's now our head coach, and he's bringing Trent Williams.
Whatever. It's fine. We'll see how it happens.
This is bad. This is sad. I've never seen you down.
No,
like
because
that.
the biggest mistake I made was getting excited when nothing has changed. Structurally, foundationally, essentially, the foundation of the house has been decaying and rotting for a very, very long time, and it's been going especially fast since George McCaskey took over the team. And what happened this summer is the rotting house with termites, they got a new paint job, And I was like, holy fuck, this house looks incredible. This is going to be the greatest house ever. I can't wait to live in it. And then I got in it and the wall and the floor started falling and I fell through the floor and I was like, this sucks. It's the same as it always was. So,
And you fell into the termite net.
yeah, I've been hurt enough where it's just like, dude, just realize that unless there's sustained change and sustained progress on the field, if they put together multiple winning seasons in a row under this ownership, then maybe I'll be like, oh, something's different. But even 1 year of winning in a row or 1 year of winning under this ownership probably won't last because they'll fuck it up.
So you're not even excited with one winning season?
No, because they'll fuck it up long term. That's what they do. It is broken from top to bottom. We got embarrassed. I mean, fucking Doug Kramer again. How do we do that again?
Yeah, not being told to report as eligible.
You're in the backfield, dude.
Yeah, you get put your job. Here's your job. You stay on the sidelines, and then they tell you occasionally on a goal line, sprint onto the field because you're going to play offensive line here, or you're going to play fullback here. To not go up to the ref and report, it seems ridiculous.
Jalen Johnson, who is one of the last guys who cares and is really good on this roster, they forgot to put the C on his chest on Monday Night Football. They was like, oh yeah, that was just a error in
an oversight.
Yeah. The only guy who deserves to be captain, you took his captainship away accidentally. They're an organization. They're a non-serious organization that has no attention to detail. It just doesn't run the way an organization should. Listen, I hope they get a good head coach. I will be rooting for them to get a good head coach. I'm just not going to let myself get 10 out of 10 excited until something major changes. And I'll get 6 out of 10. You'll say it's not like I'm changing how I'm rooting. It's just changing how I'm thinking optimistically about the future. I will never let myself get optimistic about the future in a way that I got this past summer.
Yeah, the problem with shitty owners is that they're very good at instilling hope in people. And they do that in a variety of ways. They usually get people that are very excited to step into different jobs, whether that's head coach or in the front office, team president, GM, whatever it is. You get excited about those people in the short term because they seem different. They seem like they know what they're doing. They seem like they have it all put together. But at the end of the day, you feel bad for those people that take those jobs because they realize what you've always known, which is this is an impossible job to succeed at.
Yeah.
It's impossible. You can go into it with the best plans that you have, but at the end of the day, there's going to be something over your head that's fucking you up the entire time. Until that thing is gone, then those good hires that you make, I still think Ryan Poles was a good hire to make. I think there are a lot of teams that would probably like to have Ryan Poles working for them. I don't know if he'll get a GM gig next if he does leave the Bears, but he'll be back in the front office, work his way back up. But he was a qualified candidate. He was a good candidate. And guys like those, they will continue to be hired by the Bears at times and then continue to not be able to do their job, not be allowed to do their job.
I mean, he had 3-year rebuild, and we're nowhere close to a rebuild.
Your offensive line was so bad last night. So bad. And
Caleb's been bad. I'm not going to say, oh my God, everyone's fault. Well, they are faulting Caleb as an organization, but Caleb, I think I'm worried that this is now gotten in his head because he's getting sacked so many times. He's scared to throw that one where Rome Odunze was open in the middle of the field. That was just Justin Fields, Mitch Trubisky flashbacks, where it's like this is happening again.
Caleb needs to get his groove back. Here's advanced statistics for you here. Manalytics. Caleb Williams with painted fingernails, 4-3. Without painted fingernails, 0-7.
Yeah, he needs to paint his fingernails again.
He lost his mojo. It's like when you see the killer whale in captivity and their fin is drooped over.
Yeah. It just all sucks. I don't know what else to say. It all sucks. I'm not gonna stop rooting as hard as I root. I'm just going to stop letting my hopes ever get up again. That's the difference. That's where the change is.
And a lie.
Why?
Because I mean, we'll revisit this in I don't know, August or whenever they hire a new coach, and then there's some good reports out of camp.
So when I say pretty good,
Caleb,
we'll see. Will you be upset if I say we'll see?
No, not at all.
Okay. I mean, it will be boring, but I think I have to do that. I have to do that for my own mental health. I have to say we'll see.
We will be revisiting this clip. That's a promise.
This is post-loss clarity that he has.
Correct.
Right?
But this has also been it's just years and years of this bullshit. And it's that game on Monday Night Football was a game I've seen a million times. It's flashbacks to just the end of the Trustman era when they were on a Monday Night Football game and they were just ripping everyone. And then I went to this game. I was telling Eddie and those guys were at the game and they asked me if I wanted to go. And I was like, no, I've been to that game. I went to Mitch Trubisky, John Fox's last game as the Bears head coach when Mitch Trubisky was a rookie and we got killed by the Vikings. I was at the game in Minnesota. Like, this game happens every year. So it's over. Vikings are great. Vikings keep rolling. Kevin O'Connell's he's coach of the year in my opinion. Think about what he's done. Kirk Cousins, fine quarterback. We all think he made Kirk Cousins, what did they win, 11 games that year? Last year, obviously, things fell apart. He kind of tread water with Josh Dobbs. This year, Sam Darnold, who's been thrown to the trash pile a few different times, he's made him playing at elite level. Like, this is why, in a weird way, I know that we talked about the Sam Darnold situation last week. Like, what do you do with Sam Darnold? I don't think they can make a mistake because they have Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah,
J.J. McCarthy will be fine because Kevin O'Connell's the coach.
Yeah, but I still think you got to keep Sam. I think you have to keep Sam. How much better could Sam Darnold be playing right now than he already is? Like, how much better?
It's money.
Would it be?
What we're talking about.
But let's just say he keeps playing like that.
Yeah,
he's worth that money.
Right. But the argument, the counter argument is J.J. McCarthy's getting paid $1 million a year because he's a rookie.
Right.
And you could beef up everything else in all the other holes, and that's how you win a Super Bowl. But listen, I mean,
as good as he looked in the preseason, to expect that he would be able to step in and play at the same level Sam's playing at next year. Like, he might be very good. We don't know. But, like, Sam has played to the peak of his ability this year with, like, one or two exceptions.
Yeah, it's just a rookie contract deal that you're trying to win on that window. I
wouldn't take that chance.
I think Kevin O'Connell is just so good that it doesn't matter. And yes, Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings GM were hired in the exact same cycle as Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus.
He is a very good coach.
Like a week after. Like, the Bears made the first move.
All right, you're a guy who doesn't, you don't know NFL details. Now you do?
It's context. I'm just providing context.
Memes were just saying that exact stat back here.
Can you read it off, Memes?
I gotta find the tweet.
It wasn't a week after.
The Bears hired. Yeah, it was both things happened. Bears did the first move, then the Vikings counter move was a better GM and a better head coach.
Oh, Cody Bellinger got traded to the Yankees. Breaking news.
Yep, that was great.
What did he get traded for? Probably nothing because they want to get rid of his cash.
I don't see any details on there.
Do we click it again? Let's see.
Full trade.
Cash. I was right about that. Cash. Go to cash to the New York Yankees. Right-hand reliever Cody Poteet goes to the Cubs. Yep. Cash.
There you go. Poteet.
Okay. So cash.
I have the tweet.
Cash. Okay. Go ahead, Memes.
A timeline. January 25th, 2020.
The most animated Memes has ever been.
I mean, I can't get mad because I make fun of other teams. This is Memes. You deserve this. A timeline.
A timeline. January 25th, 2022. Bears hire Ryan Poles. January 26th, 2022. Vikings hire Kwesi Adolphe-Mensah. Probably fucked that up. January 27th, 2022. Bears hire Matt Eberflus. January 16th, 2022. Vikings hire Kevin O'Connell.
Damn.
Do you know what's probably going to happen, if I had to guess, is that we're going to do the head coaching interviews, and they're going to be like, hey, are you comfortable with Ryan Poles? And the person's going to lie and be like, because they want the job, they're going to be like, yeah, that's fine. And then we're going to fire Ryan Poles next year. And then, so that way, then the coach has to hire the new GM.
And then the new GM comes in and has to fire the new coach after like a year.
Yeah,
because the new coach isn't his guy.
We knew we were careening into the timeline is fucked up last year, and we didn't change it, and we're doing it again this year, where it's like you can just change everything, the GM and coach, and they won't do it. And again, I like Ryan Poles a lot as a guy. I just think that this has gotten so far away from him, and this roster has gotten so far away from him, where there's some mistakes that you just happen, but you can't have ever thought, like, in retrospect, this offensive line was ever competitive.
Yeah, if you had to put your finger on it, what's the biggest problem? Big Cat is
Everything.
the GM. What if you're the GM? 10 out of 10?
Yeah.
So you'd be back.
No. Oh, if I'm the GM?
Yeah.
If I'm the GM, I try to woo Virginia McCaskey.
Like sleep with her?
Yep.
Okay.
Then we have a child.
Okay. I don't think she can do that anymore.
Okay, so then we adopt a child. And yes, okay, so Virginia McCaskey and I get married.
Uh-huh.
Sorry to my wife and kids. I'm going to have to get divorced for the better of the Bears.
For the city.
For the city. So Virginia McCaskey and I, we get married. Beautiful marriage. Wonderful marriage. And then I say to Virginia, hey, Ginny, that's what I call her.
Okay.
Hey, Ginny,
That's hot.
I'm thinking about adopting. And she says, okay, we should adopt. And then we adopt Theo Epstein. And he saves the Bears.
I like that.
You like that?
Yeah. Or you could adopt like 7 homeless pit bulls and just lock her in a room with them.
Listen, very nice lady.
Is she?
Sure.
She doesn't let people.
She's 101. I don't know if she could do anything mean.
Yeah, old people didn't do anything bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's the thing. She is a quiet lady.
I don't even know if she talks.
She doesn't let people wear Bears jerseys or uniforms or logos or merchandise
Yeah.
in her box. I think she might have the worst box in the NFL.
It's an all-time fumble of a bag. Like you fumbled the organization that was that Papa Bear bought for a bushel of blueberries and a 5-cent piece.
Yep.
And now we're here. So whatever. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm just no more. 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 is as high as I'll go in the excitement meter.
Since I'm being tagged in it, I will respond to a question out there.
Oh, great.
Friend of the program, Ryan Fitzpatrick. He was on X.com, the everything app. It's all happening on X.
I saw that.
And
I saw this.
do you see that? It said, name something worse than being a Bears fan. And his response was being friends with a Bears fan and having to listen to them complain about the Bears. I want to say that's not worse than being a Bears fan.
Yeah. Also, like,
I can confirm that it's not worse.
my complaints are why a lot of people listen to the show. The sickos and perverts are loving the complaints right now. Hank is having the best time ever.
Hank, can you please remind PFT what happened, that they basically lost to the Bears?
They did. I mean, that's
Huh?
commies are good. They're in the playoffs.
Wait, what?
I mean, you're
Wait,
talking.
wait, but
You
what
love
ju-
to do this
but what-
like
but what just
I'm bigger.
happened?
I'm bigger than you.
No, I'm
but
not
like
doing
you
that.
basically lost to this team.
I'm not doing I'm bigger than him.
This
I
has
think
nothing to
that's
do with the
much,
Commanders.
much bigger than
This
me.
has nothing to do with the Commanders.
No, he
and
went
no
through
one
the whole,
wants. I've
he
said
went through the
multiple
whole
times.
new ownership phase.
Yeah, because guess what? I fucking lived it for.
Yeah, now look at
for
him. He's in the
20 years.
playoffs.
No. It is true when you. I experienced it directly that you have a fucked up owner that no matter what happens, they fuck everything else up. It's true. That's not me being bigger than. That's me just saying something that's the truth. Max, what was that about you asking Hank to ask me?
Hank has been one to say that the Commanders basically lost to the Bears.
But why didn't
We're
you just
talking
say that
Bears,
to me?
though. We're not talking
We're not talking about
Commanders.
the Commanders.
Also,
And I've said
I hold-
multiple times, over and over and over again on the record, no one wants the Bears to be more successful than me.
Yeah.
I want the Bears to be good.
I also don't hold any resentment towards Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, JJ McCarthy, because I really do firmly believe that no matter what the draft order went, it would have ended exactly here. It would have ended exactly here. You could have given us Drake May. You could have given us Jaden Daniels. You could have given us Bo Nix. We would have been doing this exact same conversation because that's what the Bears do. That's what they do. This is the third time in fucking 7 years. It's insane. It's crazy. 6 years. It's crazy.
Is it okay if I agree with that, Max, or would that be being bigger than Big Cat?
No, you can agree. You can
Okay.
agree. It's Eagles Commanders week. I'm on Commanders alert.
Okay.
Respect.
I'm on Commanders alert.
Respect.
All right, so the Vikings are great. Also, the good news is for Falcons fans, I feel like the A team was on the Bears Vikings, and no one watched one of the most horrific games ever played. That game was so bad,
I didn't want to watch either game. Both games were awful.
but the Vikings and Falcons game was like there was 2 block punts, there was penalties everywhere. Kirk Cousins looked so bad. Desmond Ridder almost had a chance to win the game at the end.
Yeah, he had a drive where he could have got it done. There was an egregious roughing the passer call, too.
Yep. That was a horrific game played. So, bad Monday Night Football. Mm-hmm. Bad Monday Night Football. Vikings are really good, though. Vikings are playing for the 1 seed.
Yeah. But again, watching bad football, it's a deposit into the bank.
Yeah.
And you always get rewarded. We did that last Thursday. What did we get? We got Bills Lions on Sunday. It was a great game.
Could have been better.
It was a great game.
Yeah. I mean, it was never really in doubt.
It was a great game, though.
It was a great game. It was a fun game. Did you guys agree? I mean, I feel like I've stayed consistent. I didn't like the Vikings uniforms. I've been consistent. I said it with the Packers. I'll just say it. The NFC North and the AFC North, I'll actually say the NFC East as well. I'll throw them in there. I'm trying to think what other divisions. Maybe the AFC East. Those divisions shouldn't do weird uniforms.
I mean, the Bills are just wearing Patriots jerseys this weekend.
That is
against the
weird.
Yeah, they're wearing
Patriots.
the white helmets, the red jerseys.
Yeah.
Like, do the
Be
alternate,
original.
Why did that game get flexed into primetime?
I don't fucking know. And then
It is?
and then the
Or
next
into the
it's
afternoon.
4:00, and then next week we're playing on Saturday.
Oh, I just don't think traditional teams should do any types like the purple helmets. If it was the white jerseys and the purple helmets, I'd be fine. Purple helmets are iconic.
Yeah, I agree with you. Listen, it was a weird look tuning into it. It was just bad football last night. It's okay. We can turn the page on bad football.
Yeah.
Bad presentation. Everything was just rotten. Kirk Cousins, after the game was over, though, they were talking to him on the sidelines. They were like, how do you feel about this? He's like, it's hard to win this league, yada, yada, yada. And I said, how do you feel about your play, Kirk? And it looked like he was going to cry. Oof. I thought Kirk Cousins was going to cry because he was like, clearly I'm not playing up to my standard. I think they might make a change.
I think so too.
It might be Penix's time.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
You're on the outside looking in, and the Bucs have a pretty easy schedule coming up, where I think they finish with the Saints and the Panthers, and they play the Cowboys on Sunday night. I think the Bucs, like if the Bucs win out, they obviously win the division. They're up a game.
Yep.
So maybe you wait one more week and see if you're 2 games out, and then you're like, all right, let's try it with Michael Penix. But I agree. Time for the future.
There's something wrong with Kirk. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Maybe he just got old.
He's looked bad.
But then we laughed at the Falcons on draft night. It might have been a good move.
Yeah, might have been a good move. He's going to be better than Caleb Williams. Everyone is. And then Caleb Williams, I think, actually will go somewhere else and be awesome. I still believe in him. I'm never going to stop believing in him. Max, can we get an update on your foot?
It was a good update. Went to the foot doctor. Mm-hmm. I'm in a walking boot. I still can't walk without crutches, but my doctor said eventually, within the next couple of weeks, I will be able to just use the walking boot, which is big.
Okay.
So
nice.
And then no surgery?
He said
You're not an athlete?
very, very minimal chance that I need surgery.
Did you tell him that you were an athlete?
I would think like less than 1%. I did not tell him.
How long till you get out of your boot?
I think he could tell.
How long till you get out of your boot?
I get reevaluated in a month.
And did he say you could possibly be out then?
Yeah, possibly.
Oh, that's huge.
Possibly.
You need to get out of that boot for Super Bowl.
I
So
think
then you can re-break it on Bourbon Street.
That was so
Right before
fucked
the
up that
Eagles
you just
Super
said-
Bowl.
I mean,
that was so fucked up that you just said that.
Oh,
have you given your walking boot a voice?
I've not.
Does it sound like, hey, Max, put your
Max.
stinky little toes inside me.
me, Max.
hey Max, you're gonna get
me,
so
Max
fat.
Oh, Italy is a boot.
Yeah.
You got the entire country of Italy on your foot right
Hey
now.
Max,
That's
why
big.
don't
Yeah.
you get a couple? Why don't you get a couple meatballs?
Put some meatballs in your sake.
Warm up your toesies with some meatballs and some sauce.
Yep, walking boot.
Yeah, you got to get out of it before Super Bowl.
Why?
Because it will suck to be in New Orleans in a boot.
You don't want to. You don't. Is that specifically because you think I'm going to break it again?
No, I want you to be out of the boot for the Super Bowl.
I want to see you walking up those stadium steps bootless.
Yeah, feeling good in the pants.
Yeah.
We got a lot of football.
I don't want you
The
have to
night
cut
before,
your.
so much football to
I don't
be
want you have to
played.
cut your pants.
Vikings are good.
Vikings are very good.
I
It's tough
do
to
have-
climb up a greased up light pole with a walking boot on, Max.
Yeah, Vikings are really good.
I do have one of my pant legs cut right now.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
People
Stylish.
Max, you want to say anything about Nick Sirianni getting alphaed by the D-line coach?
No, No, that's just like the culture, and that all the coaches feel comfortable enough to go up and have that conversation.
Yeah.
With Nick Sirianni,
Leader
that
of men.
The way that he coaches his guys is that you can do that, and then you can go back the next day, and everything's all right because it's like brothers.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like when brothers fight, but it's at the end of the day we're brothers and common goal of championships.
Right. You see that all the time in Lions games.
Yep.
All
Well,
the assistant coaches going up to Dan Campbell looking like they're going to strangle him, being like,
What
you
a-
better get the fuck away from
right,
Dan.
because of all the Super Bowls
And
that
Dan's
Dan
like,
Campbell and the Lions have won.
Oh, okay.
By the
All
way,
right.
Dan Campbell, I did love his speech.
Oh, it was so good.
I mean, the Lions, we have David Montgomery now out for the year, which is crazy. Like, we knew the defensive injuries, and they just added David Montgomery on that.
I think
Yeah.
he'll be back for the playoffs, though, correct?
I don't know. I don't
think
know.
so. I think he has a torn PCL.
That could have been me reading Pro Football Doc.
I think they're getting some of their linebackers back, maybe. But it's a bad scene. But Dan Campbell went on a radio show and he pumped everyone up. I don't know if you can find the clip, but listen, the Lions are. There have been teams that have gotten this many injuries. The Lions have a significant amount of injuries. I have the stat. I don't want to be like I see the constant tug and pull of Lions fans being like, but our injuries, and everyone's like, well, you're the first team to ever get injured. Give Lions fans a little bit of give them a little leeway because they do have an insane amount of injuries.
I'm going to think of them the same way I thought of the Ravens from like 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
You remember that when they got so banged up that even their mascot tore his ACL?
Yeah.
That was a bad season. And you can remember that Ravens team for being good, very good, but also, but injuries.
Yeah, so the 8 Lions that are out or that are on IR on the defense rank among the top 40 defenders in total EPA. No other team has more than 2 in the top 40, and 52% of Detroit's defensive starters or direct backups are on IR.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Hearing Dan Campbell talk about it, though, it did make me buy back into the Lions.
Yeah, of course.
He was like, you know what? We got by on eating moldy bread for a long ass time. Now we're used to filet mignon. Guess what? That moldy bread was good for us.
Yeah.
We got through it. I think he said we got new guys. We're going to cut them loose.
Yeah.
So
And
they're going to cut them loose.
If we give up 700 yards and win by 1, you'll see me smiling ear to ear.
Yeah.
He's the one you'd want to go to battle with this type of stuff.
I have another question for Max. Max, do you think that Jalen Hurts has pretty privilege?
I saw that.
You see the
What is
discourse?
Yes.
Dominique Foxworth said that Jalen Hurts has pretty privilege.
There's also another clip of he's interviewing, I don't know if it's his wife or his daughter or something, but he's interviewing another woman and they're talking about how beautiful Jalen Hurts is, and he's upset by the woman talking about how beautiful Jalen Hurts is.
Yeah, it's like hot chicks hate when guys are
I
like,
wish
oh
I
my
knew-
God,
I
you're
wish-
so hot.
I didn't
He's
think
got
that this was
privilege.
going to get brought up, but I wish I got more information on that follow-up because it did make me laugh because it made it seem like he just hates Jalen Hurts because someone in his life thinks that he's hot.
Thinks that,
Got
the
it.
Yes.
clip you saw was Foxworth interviewing somebody in his family.
This could be an egregious count of fake news.
It's like David Tepper and his wife going out to dinner with CJ Stroud. She loves CJ Stroud, so he's like, I'm going to draft Bryce Young.
Kinda.
Kind of like that.
Or it could have just been like a random person that he was interviewing.
Did your mic just cut out? No.
I did that by accident. But yeah, this is it. Yeah, it's his wife. He's mad that his wife is thirsting for... Can I play the clip?
Yeah,
Yeah.
play the clip.
This is the pretty
Fumble or
Whose tush was being pushed?
Jalen's only 2 seconds.
Oh, I was sure me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yes.
That's very clear.
All right, so when Foxworth brings that up, there's some beef there.
Yes, that's what that's the information that I
Okay.
gathered,
Do you-
so I didn't take it too seriously.
Do you think that Jalen Hurts is pretty?
Yeah, he's handsome as hell.
I said
He
pretty.
has
I didn't say handsome.
Pretty privilege.
Yeah, no, he's handsome, pretty, all the above.
I wish he acknowledged his privilege sometimes. We don't all get the same treatment that he gets.
That's true.
Listen,
That's true.
Listen, hot quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Big Ben, they get treated differently. You'd think the media would be nicer to Jake Haener. He should have pretty privilege.
Yeah, memes just AI'd me so much on... Memes is on an AI binge right now.
He is.
You said Jake Haener, just reminded me. He's on a generational run of AI.
He really is. And also, Max, you remember like maybe 6 months after you started on the show, You made the remark that Memes is obsessed with me. Memes is obsessed with you.
Yeah,
You're right.
that's a fact.
I looked at the light again.
All right.
We have the best booth in the biz, guys.
We do. We absolutely do. Should we kick it to ourselves? I gotta process this Cody Bellinger try. I feel like if they did the money for more Kyle Tucker money, then it makes sense. Otherwise, the Cubs are just cheap.
So wait, did the money go to the Yankees?
No, the Yankees are paying the Cubs.
Is that what it was?
So yeah, the Yankees traded cash.
I've also seen a couple tweets now that said I would like to buy Cody Petit stock.
Oh, okay.
So that-
great.
Good.
Let's go.
That could be good for you.
Cubs are
That's-
back.
That's all I really need
I think
to
the
see.
Cubs are going to go with just like hopefully Kyle Tucker hits 45 home runs.
No, Big Cat.
Suzuki
it
hits
says,
like 30 and we win every game 2-0.
It says Cody Bellinger and cash go to the New York Yankees.
Oh, we're paying.
So you're paying the Yankees.
Oh,
$5
shit.
million. That's what it's
Oh, but we're getting out of 20 million.
Correct.
You're saving money
Yeah.
on
you're only
the long term.
You're only giving 5.
Yeah.
Good investment.
Yeah.
That's according to Bob Nightingale, which
Cheap.
is
Fucking cheap. Yeah, who knows? Okay, let's kick it to ourselves. We got Hot Seat, Cool Throne, and then we got great 2 interviews coming up. We have Kirk Herbstreit and Paul Walter Hauser. Okay, Hot Seat, Cool Throne. Holiday party fails can turn into a great story that ends with a toast over Coors Light. Getting snowed in can turn into the ultimate movie marathon. It doesn't matter if the holidays don't go as planned. When you choose chill and then reach for a Coors Light, when you embrace a chill mindset this holiday, it's a good time to choose chill and crack open a Coors Light. Coors Light is mountain cold refreshment, crisp and refreshing as the Rockies. Choose chill this holiday season and then reach for a Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/take, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Henry, Coors Light.
Love
The best.
Coors Light. The
Holiday
best.
season.
Yeah.
It's holiday parties, ugly sweaters.
I got a
Coors
Coors
Light.
Light that's out on my deck, and I use it to monitor the temperature depending how blue the mountains are.
I love that.
Last week, the bluest mountain I've ever seen in my life. It was
Yeah.
like an Eves Klein blue. It was perfect.
Yeah, so celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Hank, Hot Seats, Cool Throne.
My hot seat is Chris Hansen in NFL Red Zone.
Not Chris Hansen.
Oh.
Scott Hansen.
Yes.
Isn't it Chris Hansen the let's take a seat?
Yeah, why don't you
guy?
take a seat over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott Hansen.
That's
Sorry,
the
Scott.
They call that the Pred Zone.
Did he get now? Chris Hansen.
Scott Hansen got railroaded.
No, but Chris. Just,
By me
let's
and
stay
by
on Chris
his
Hansen for a
company.
second. Chris Hansen, I forgot. Like he got it reversed. He wasn't a pedophile, but he got it reversed on him that someone caught him cheating on his wife and did the. You want to take a seat over there?
Oh, they caught him. What?
I'm pretty sure that was.
I remember
his
the guy.
story arc.
I remember the guy from Cheaters. Was that Joey Greco that got stabbed on the episode of Cheaters?
on the boat.
Yeah.
which might have been fake,
Might
but
have been-
I
no, it
believe
wasn't.
it's
That was
real.
real. That was
I believe
real.
it's real. Yeah. So Chris Hansen, I believe, was caught having an affair with a colleague 20 years junior by a hidden camera and fired from NBC for it.
He was
That's
caught in
crazy.
his own videotape sting. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Wait, it was his own videotape sting. It was like his show.
He forgot the
And
videos.
The
cameras
married
were there?
NBC anchor was secretly filmed on a date with a blonde television reporter who has reportedly been dating for the past 4 months.
Wow.
I want to get ahead of something. We had cameras set up in the studio on Sunday because Hank's doing the Part of My Take documentary.
Yep.
And there was like a camera that was in here while I was working on Boomers. And this was probably like, I don't know, 6 p.m. I forgot that the camera was there and that was on. And I farted real loud like 9 times.
Who cares?
Like
Like
9
timestamp?
times.
Dude,
Yeah.
who cares? By the way, Shane is on the sticks right now because Max is getting his. We already heard the update from Max, but Shane doesn't know how to work the volume. That was why the volume just turned on there. Shane.
I clicked on the video to try to pull it up and instantly it just started playing.
Wait, we're going a bunch of different sidetracks, but I want to stay on this real quick. Is there a reason Pug is not sitting where Shane is? Are we
He's
still
working. Pug's working.
There's a documentary coming out.
You're memes. You're not still mad at Pug.
No, we're good.
Okay. PFT. You know what you know what I'm gonna do for 2025, and I think this is. I don't give a fuck anymore. Okay.
Love that.
Like farts. I caught someone was like, you picked your nose on a stream the other day. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, I pick my nose every fucking day.
I picked my nose also when I was sitting at this desk. And I think after 5 minutes, I looked at the camera. I was like, The camera probably just caught me picking my nose. Deal with it.
Don't care.
This is
Don't
disgusting,
care.
but talking about farts, like, do you, like, when you have smelly farts and you're in the comfort of your own home,
like it.
Oh, yeah.
you like
It
to
smells
just
good.
like fishbowl under the covers.
Yeah, it
and
smells good.
We
Get
going
under
real
there.
comfort of our own homes?
Yeah. Because I
This
enjoy, like,
one's
I'm like in the smellier.
Yeah,
if
oh,
I'm
yeah.
by myself, the smellier the better.
This one's disgusting.
I get excited.
This is disgusting, but I do this. I'm wondering if any of you guys do this. Because I agree. You have to smell your own farts. When you're in your car, you got a good one, and you put on the heated seats to warm up the fart.
Yeah.
To really cook it extra.
You get it simmering a little bit.
Yeah. Give it a little extra juice.
I've never done that.
That's the gross shit.
I might start doing that. What I do sometimes is I'll turn the heater off
Yeah.
when I fart. That way it doesn't blow the smell away.
Yeah, right.
So I
you
can
want to
just
linger
marinate
in
a
it.
while.
This
Yeah.
is also fucked up, but I was thinking about this, how in New York, I would, like, if I had farts, I would, on the train, I would just let them loose.
That is fucked up.
And then I would be like, because obviously no one's going to, like, accuse random people on the subway, but I would always act like I smelt it, too. And be like, oh, like, who the fuck?
Yeah, right. Like,
Disgusting.
oh, gross,
yeah,
man.
Like, basically, like, you know, getting the scent off yourself. Because if someone else looks around in disgust, then you're also like, yeah, this is who the fuck.
yeah.
That's the worst
That's nuts.
behavior ever on a subway, Hank.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You-
bad on a subway.
You don't fart on a subway.
Elevators. But yeah, Hank, you got to smell your own farts. All right, so
Scott Hanson, red zone. I don't blame Scott Hanson. There was no way this was his decision, but their entire tagline for years, since the beginning of red zone, get ready
Commercial-free.
for 7 hours of commercial-free football. Mm-hmm. And on Sunday they ran commercials.
they ran commercials. Now I feel a
I think
little
they ran
bad.
like 30 seconds. of
I do feel a
commercials,
little
but-
bad because this is one of those blind spots for us where we're a little out of touch because we don't watch Red Zone anymore. We haven't watched Red Zone in years. We watch every game. We're lucky enough to be able to have every game on. And I wish I had known this to speak for the people on Sunday because this is bullshit. This is, you have a duty, and this is not Scott Hanson's fault. This is the people behind whoever sold these commercials. 7 hours of commercial-free football, and you just completely rug pulled them. This is worse than Hawk Tua.
Who did nothing wrong.
She's still sleeping.
She's still
She's
sleeping. Is she
asleep.
still not made a statement?
Oh, she did. Her statement was, "Hey y'all, I'm kind of tired. I'm gonna
sleep.
go to bed. See y'all tomorrow.
Gone to bed. All right.
All right, bye."
Yeah.
All right. So it is bullshit because the red zone it's supposed to be a sanctuary away from commercials.
Correct.
They market it as such. I don't know if I blame Scott Hanson. I think I might blame Scott Hanson because Jeff D'Lo showed me a very interesting video the other day.
Okay.
He was asked to rank his top 5 red zone sayings, like the Scott Hanson sayings, Scott Hanson isms. He's claiming the witching hour as being his saying.
Now, Mike Francesa created that, as far as I know.
Did you give it to him though?
No, I don't know.
On Part of My Take?
But I
might
feel like
have.
I do feel like there was a time when you brought it up to him and then he
Yeah.
started
Yes.
using it. Like
Yes.
that is definitely how I remember it as well.
Yes.
Like you brought up the witching hour
and then
phrase
he
and
started
then he
saying
started
it.
saying it.
And then
Yeah.
I think he tagged Part of My Take when he started saying it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a name for? I'm going to call it like the 3 to 4 p.m. hour that happens when you get just like all the games coming down to the wire, and they're like 4 close finishes at once. Do you have a nickname for that?
Yeah, simply, it's not really creative, but I call it the greatest single hour in sports television. And I
It's the
literally
witching
say
hour.
that out
We
loud.
call it the golden.
It's the witching hour.
Witching hour or
yeah,
golden
it's the
hour?
witching hour. The
Witching
golden
hour,
hour is
golden hour?
right at sunset. Witching hour
Here
is
we
the
are
3 to
talking
4.
we're talking before week 1. I promise I will refer to it either as the witching hour or the golden hour at some point this season, just for you guys.
Yeah.
I promise I will
you.
do that.
That I remember it that way as well.
So
So it was we're
getting-
giving credit to Mike Francesa,
yeah.
but he gave credit to us, but now the credit has faded away.
So we're blaming Scott Hanson. This is like an Al Capone. We got him for tax evasion.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like we're not saying that he's in trouble for the commercial free. We're lumping it all. He's getting a RICO case right now.
All I'm saying is it never had commercials when Siciliano was around.
That's true. That's true. This is bullshit. This is bullshit.
I mean, what's next? Yeah, what if Red Zone's not going to be commercial free? Like, what is next?
Do people? I struggle with Red Zone. That's all I'm going to say. I've had this take before. I think it's too much, and I like being able to seeing all the games and the flow of the games. I mean, 7 games is a lot to follow.
I love Red Zone. I do.
I just can't.
It's impossible for us, though.
It is impossible for
we're
us.
so far removed from the average fan in terms of watching NFL Sunday that I don't even think we can really comment.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
I do.
No one has 7 TVs.
Yeah, but with YouTube TV now, you can at least do 4.
You can do multi-view, yeah.
But they only have sound on. Yeah.
I have a prediction. Hank's asking.
Yeah, witching hour. He's looking for it. He only recently started saying it in the last few years. What were you saying?
I have a prediction. Hank asked, "What's next? Are they going to start putting commercials in movies? Like we have product placement now. That's been around. That's been a thing for a while.
Yeah.
Are they going to have commercials like in the court, like a 15-second break?
Yeah.
That would be insane.
What's next? Commercials and podcasts?
I could see it.
I'm out. Coors Light, hot seat.
Scott Hanson, he should have. He got led to the Wolves. Imagine if he. I see it. Shane is crazy with the computer in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much. He's just going nuts. Imagine if Scott Hanson had walked out.
Yeah, that would have
been. He would have been a hero.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have sucked for him because he would have lost his job and a lot of money and the best job in the world. But we would have respected him for that 10 minutes, and then we would have gone on to the next thing.
He would have had conviction.
I always love when people are like, "Yeah, you should just walk out." It's like, for what? 10 minutes of our respect?
Yeah.
We would have forgotten about it the second the Bills and Lions kicked off.
No, he would have walked off the set. We would have been like everybody. We would have tweeted about it.
Yeah.
Show respect to Scott Hanson. And then Greg Rosenthal would have walked on the set and be like, "We love Greg."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This guy rocks.
Yeah, like Red Zone. They also could have done it without Scott Hanson, and half the people wouldn't even notice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And my cool throne is shitty money grab fights involving one of the Paul brothers.
Okay. What's going on?
Conor McGregor tweeted that the rumors of a bout with Topuria are false. I am in preliminary agreements with the Ambani family to face Logan Paul in a boxing exhibition in India. I have agreed. I will then seek my return to the octagon. He's 100 years old. He hasn't fought in forever. He's just going to do a boxing match versus Logan Paul. It's probably going to suck.
How many times are we going to fall for the Paul fights?
I'm sick of it. Yeah, I'm sick of it.
This might be
they fight someone who's actually at the top of their game.
You know what? I will boycott this fight. If I do watch it,
if it's on for free,
it'll be a
Netflix,
pirated stream.
I'll probably watch.
I will pirate the stream.
It depends,
but I will not.
Don't box yourself in yet.
I will not watch it on a legitimate stream
because they could easily do this fight on a Saturday at 9 p.m. in July, and you're sitting on the couch. You're like, oh,
I won't pay for it. I'm with PFT.
Yeah,
if it's on a streaming platform for free that I already have.
I'm not going to go as far as saying I won't. I most likely won't.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Won't.
I'm going to break the law. This is entrapment. You're forcing me to break the law. Mm-hmm. You can only push a man so far.
That's facts. Okay, PFT, your hot seat. Good job, Hank.
Nice job, Hank.
Great job, Hank.
Thanks.
Minus
the Scott Chris thing, but
that's okay. My hot seat is Doug Gottlieb.
That's mine, yeah.
Doug Gottlieb on the hot seat. Our boy Adam Schefter reported yesterday that Sacramento State was in discussions to hire Mike Vick as their head football coach. And along with that report, he also posted that Sacramento State has over $50 million in NIL money at their behest that they can contribute to building the program. And then Doug Gottlieb replied saying, "Jesus, Schefty," but it was Jeezus. That's how you know he's serious. "Jesus, Schefty, edit what agents tell you. 0.0% chance Sac State has $50 million in NIL. Schefty did not take that laying down.
No.
He said the Sac-12 leading the school's NIL efforts already announced it reached its initial goal of raising $50 million in NIL funds to strengthen the school's case for an invitation to the Pac-12 or Mountain West Conference. And Jesus, Doug, a 7-game losing streak and last place in the Horizon League, less time on social media, more time in the gym. I give that round to Schefty.
Absolutely.
I give that round to Schefty.
Roasted.
Now, I did see some fact checking of Schefty saying that the $50 million for Sacramento State is contingent on them following through on their roadmap and then being accepted into the Pac-12 down the line. So it's not like Sacramento State has $50 million laying around.
Yeah, someone's like, hey, if you get us into the big conference, we will give you $50 million. That's not $50 million right now.
Yeah, but Doug Gottlieb, people forget, he's hosting his radio show and also doing a bad job coaching college basketball team.
Yeah.
He's like the Travis Hunter of media.
And he's, I think has he won a game in December? Because famously, beginning of December, Doug Gottlieb posted, it's the most wonderful time of the year, and it was a meme. December 2024, and it just has like all the days color coded, and it's like December 2nd through 6th, pretend to work. December 9th through 13th, don't even pretend anymore. Like nostalgia, destroy your body with food and alcohol. This is a coach, a college basketball coach, and he did a meme being like, December's the time when we don't even pretend to work.
I love that. Now, to be fair, he's had a gauntlet of a schedule. So he's lost to Evansville, Campbell, Cleveland State.
He also has done
Ooey
he's also ooey pooey. He's doing things like his way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the exact details, but I just saw it, I just saw it like in glancing through like maybe a week ago. I guess his point guard or one of his best players was not playing his way.
Gottlieb way.
So Gottlieb
Not enough steals?
sat him for the entire game, even though they can't win a game right now.
Yeah.
He's like, until he learns how to play my way, he's not going to play.
Yeah.
So he's doing like a Bobby Knight thing for Green Bay.
I like that. Credit to Doug Gottlieb. Maybe it's just not in the cards.
Do you think, now again, we love Schefty. He's our guy. That response definitely was because Doug Gottlieb wasn't so far off.
I think what's the old saying?
Well, they get sensitive. The insiders get sensitive.
The insiders get sent. Me think the lady doth protest too much.
Yeah.
Let them eat cake.
Well,
Yeah.
I think they do say that. I think that Schefty is on high alert after the hijinks that was pulled by Mike Mularkey against Ian Rappaport. We should talk about that again because that's just such a dirty move and not hilarious at all that Mike Mularkey did that.
Did you guys see John Heyman's meltdown?
No.
That also, like, the insiders are having a really bad time right now. They're having a really bad time. John Heyman went on WFAN and the host insinuated that he was getting a cut of Scott Boris's deals for reporting on it. And he had a voice crack meltdown.
Yeah, that's a no-no.
Which is like a funny, again,
it's
a
just
funny thing to say.
All these guys are just so funny because they really just take they just cannot stand anyone poking fun of the idea that they're breaking news 2 seconds before the team does.
So the insinuation here was that
And
John
Shams
Heyman
the other day was freaking out about Jimmy Butler.
Shams got cooked by Jimmy Butler's agent. Too.
Yeah, all right,
But then he like lashed out too.
Yeah,
Like, I
So
stand by it
Heyman is
100%.
being accused of getting money from Scott Boras.
yeah, in a joking way. So we play the
Do you
end
think
of it.
Scott Boras would ever like give any of his money to a reporter?
No, hell no. Play the end of it. Let's see if Shane can do it. Maybe not that far. All right, right there. No sound. Shane's getting cooked right now. Shane's getting cooked by the people.
There's a lot of jobs in the sports world, especially, being in it. Like, the insiders has never seemed appealing in any way, shape, or form at any point. It doesn't even matter when Schefter gets these big contracts. It's like his life is so stressful.
Yeah.
There's no time when you're not stressed. I don't know how it's enjoyable.
Yeah, the only joy that Leroy ever got out of breaking stories was the fact that he was beating the insiders.
Yeah.
And the insiders who like make that their job, getting beaten by a dog.
Yeah. It's a crazy life. All right, I'll pull it up because
John, thank you for right now. I'm not above that.
Wait, you're playing two things right now. You're playing two
It
things.
just ended the phone call.
Or maybe they're just talking over.
Shane, go back.
Not expected to. John,
go back a little.
At some point,
There
I
you
think
go.
someone could probably drop it if they're a nice person.
What I think is it just like how I introduced you. Everybody in baseball knows who you are. So one, it's a credit to your work, your following,
Yeah,
and how.
by the way, I won't be going on with you again. The whole thing has been a disaster.
He's crying.
That's okay.
I can't even believe you said that to question my integrity.
Are you being serious right now?
I'm being serious, yeah.
John.
Asking me if I'm getting a cut because I have a relationship with an agent. That's outrageous. I know you're not a journalist. You don't know anything about this. I know you don't, but that's an outrageous comment. You should know that
it's
much.
Friday night at 8:30, John.
You should know that much.
And I am
I'm
not.
done with you,
I am
and
not
I'm
taking
done with
this that
WFAN.
serious.
Goodbye.
John, thank you for joining
I can't
us,
even
John.
believe it.
Thank
I
you,
can't
John.
even believe it.
Appreciate
The
your
best. The end. I can't even believe it.
Oh, you know, they're getting upset when they're talking to another member of media and they're like, "You're not even a journalist.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get it."
They're under fire right now. I can't even believe it.
Yeah,
Woj got out at the right time.
Memes attacking Rossini.
Yeah.
He was crying the other day about that.
Warranted and correct.
How we found the story.
He did find the story. It was not even close to what he said.
I know.
What?
He
said
probable. She said probable.
It is very funny that you.
That's what she said. I think she said discussions were being had regarding this thing.
Yeah, it's likely or probable. She didn't say like fact, which is how you reported it.
Like this is basically the Scooby-Doo meme. You think it's Florio takes off the mask, or Rossini takes off the mask. It's Florio. It's really like Rossini and Florio take off the mask. It's memes all along because you make up more stories than they do.
That's probably true.
I think memes. To be fair to memes, he reads a headline or he reads a post, and then he just gets the vibe of what that post is, and then he has his own grok, his own AI inside of his head that summarizes it, rewrites it, and then that's the report.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Yeah.
I'm not paying for that shit.
Okay.
All right.
That's all I got.
Okay. Where were we? Oh, hot seat was over. Cool Throne. Cool Throne is combat sports. We got a new combat sport that we have to start paying attention to, guys. It's better than power slap. It's better than arm wrestling. It's the ultimate dick kicking championship.
Oh.
Two guys just stand across from each other and kick each other in the dicks until one guy gives up.
Oh.
And it's another one of these sports like power slap that was designed just for the clips, basically, because you will share and you will watch clips of two guys kicking each other in the dick. To me, it might as well just be, watch this video. Boom. Just taking it.
I like this. Should we do it?
So, to me, this might as well be the ultimate coin flipping championship. Because if you go first, you should win every time.
Oh. I like this. We should do this on Stool Streams.
You want to get involved?
Yeah.
Ultimate dick kicking?
Why not?
At some point, this will be like a national event.
Yeah.
The clips are just too good.
It's also funnier than slap, right?
It's much better. They should have a women's division.
Yeah. I would prefer it if it was just like they were throwing balls at each other from across the ring. So there was a level of like skill.
Sitting on the ground with your legs open in gym shorts, no underwear,
blindfolded,
and then rolling a basketball as hard as you can at the other person.
Guys really need to get girlfriends these days. I love that. Do you guys see those posts? I
like that there's a ref in it.
Yeah.
Like, what's the ref's job to police the ultimate dick kicking?
I don't know if you guys in the algorithm, like where people would just be like, guys can't, all these women aren't dating guys anymore. Mm-hmm. It's like society's fucked up. It's like maybe we're just because you're spending all day on your burner account on Twitter and not just going to the bar. Like I feel like there's a whole world out there of people still dating and meeting girls.
Yeah.
Normal people going to the bar.
Yeah.
Hey, the discussion that's happening online is not real life.
Yeah. Go out, have a drink, touch glass.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
I like that.
But there are a lot of people online like, man, I can't find a date. It's like, just, I don't know, go to the bar.
Yeah.
Probably can talk to a girl.
Yep. My other cool throne is the Boca Raton Bowl. That's tonight, Wednesday. You guys, long time real ones on Part of My Take will remember that we sponsored the Boca Raton Bowl back in 2016.
Yeah.
I think. I'm trying to remember the full
Ponzi
name.
Awareness. The Bernie Madoff, Wet the Beak, Ponzi Awareness, Boca Raton Bowl.
Presented by Part of My Take, presented by Barstool Sports.
Yeah.
So Western Kentucky, Memphis was the first matchup of it back in 2016. And who can forget the Royal Rumble, the intern Royal Rumble that we had at halftime with Glennie Balls, Tommy Smokes, Hubs, Robbie Fox.
Jesus.
Who else was in that?
Glennie
Royal
went to the
Rumble?
hospital.
Yeah, Glennie went to the hospital. What a great time that was. And then
Boca Raton, What the Beak Ponzi Scheme Awareness Bowl presented by Part of My Day, presented by Barstool.
That feels like a different life ago.
It really does. We had Caleb down there with a trophy who
Yep.
snuck onto the field at the end of it.
That was actually electric.
And so he presented it.
Glennie had to go to the hospital. That
Yeah.
was almost an actual issue.
So the bowl game did not have a sponsor, so we just said, hey, we're just going to act like we're the sponsor of this bowl game to raise awareness for it. And we sent Caleb down there. He presented the official trophy to Western Kentucky after the game.
Oh, we got a player who's come to accept the trophy.
Yes. All right, here we go.
Here we have a Dowling, number 47.
Yeah, all right. There we go. All right.
I'd like to present you, champion. You're a champion of the Wet the Beak Ponzi Scheme Awareness. Barstool Sports presents Part of My Take presents the Poker, whatever. Hey, congratulations. How are you going to wet your beak tonight?
I'm going to drink some water, probably.
All right.
Do you feel like Do you feel like I could get on the field?
I have no idea.
Let's just try. Let's just try.
Yeah, look at that. Western Kentucky's got it. Yeah.
Jump.
Western Kentucky, last I checked, has that trophy in their official trophy case at the school.
Yes.
They're playing in it again tonight. They're in the Boca Raton Bowl, and they're playing against James Madison.
I love it.
I want that fucking trophy.
Dude,
if the
what
Dukes,
was that kid's name? Mikey Electric or something?
Yeah, something like that.
But I just want to
Lightning or
I want to let the people, because I know that they listen to the show at Western Kentucky. The trophy's on the line again.
Yeah.
I will go down there and steal that trophy back if I have to, if JMU beats Western Kentucky tonight.
I love bowl season. Even though it's been kind of taken away from us. We'll talk about that with Herbie a little bit more, but I still love bowl season.
Yeah.
Okay. My hot seat was also going to be Doug Gottlieb, but we discussed that in detail. Gottlieb, I still can't believe he's coaching.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty crazy. I'll do a different hot seat. I was thinking about this because we were talking about it on Sunday. We had Jonathan Taylor and then the Bengals player. Isn't it kind of crazy that Deshaun Jackson, that is his legacy? That everyone just like Deshaun Jackson every time someone drops the ball? Is there any other situation like that? I guess the Leon Lett, but that happens very rarely.
Yeah, if you Leon Lett. No, I got another one. Dan Orlovsky.
Dan Orlovsky, yeah.
The Orlovsky.
That's it. Yeah, Dan Orlovsky's a bad one.
It is. It's crazy, but it's also with Deshaun Jackson. He was still so good for so long and so fast that it's not the first thing you think of with
Right.
Deshaun Jackson.
Right.
When somebody drops the ball, then you do think about him. But like that's not his enduring legacy. But it is. He does own the legacy of that play.
Orlovsky's a good one. The Leon Lett's funny because he's got two of them.
Yeah.
He's got the after the field goal and then also the Doug Beebe.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting chased down in a meaningless, end of a
Dan
game.
Beebe?
No, Don Beebe.
Don
Beebe.
Beebe.
I don't know why I said Doug.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what you're saying. The double doink that happens like once, never.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah, very very rare. Oh, butt fumble.
Oh,
yeah,
Chris Webber.
But like those, but it's not as
The
much.
timeout.
Chris Webber's a good one. Because it's not like the double doink and the butt fumble are kind of hard to replicate. I'm talking about a play that happens that everyone's like Deshaun Jackson. Like it's a negative play and everyone says Deshaun Jackson. Orlovsky and Chris Webber are great ones.
For Kirk Cousins fourth down play.
Check down.
The on the positive side, when in hockey, the Michigan goal.
Which one?
If somebody does something, they do the wraparound.
Oh yeah, the wraparound.
They call that a Michigan.
Yeah, that was just part of the like NCAA highlight package for that commercial. For 100 years.
Anytime you get jumped, you can just. I got bizzed.
But took some, gave some more.
Gave more.
I
read the police write up behind that. So they did like the police report. You probably saw some of the videos where the guy was like, "This guy, not a lick of fat on him."
Yeah,
built like Dwayne the Rock Johnson. There was a written report that came out where these guys were just fucking terrified of Biz.
Yeah,
they're like, this guy was out in the parking lot screaming at all of us, like, "I'm gonna fuck you guys up."
Biz is my hero.
Yeah,
he's legitimately my hero. He the way they were talking about him after was he was William Wallace. They're like he was 9 feet tall and fireballs out of his ass.
Mm-hmm. It's just amazing.
It was just incredible.
Well, it's a just outstanding, tremendous restaurant, and it's unbelievable. And he goes there four to five
times a week.
4 to 5 times a week, and the staff is unbelievable.
Great organization.
It's a great organization at Houston's, and it's just everything that happened there. I saw a guy. I was like, "Hey, buddy, like you're an unbelievable guy. Someone should do something." And I did something.
He's the fucking best. Oh, he's a one-on-one guy. Then my cool throne is Ryan Russillo and the UVM soccer team, because they won the national championship. I don't know if you guys saw this. It was kind of a Cinderella story. They were unranked. They made an incredible run. I think they survived a 2 overtime game in the America East tournament just to get into the regular NCAA tournament. And then they won in overtime last night to win the national championship. And yeah, they were unranked, and they won it all. So shout out Russillo.
And Jake.
Very cool.
And Jake. Yeah. And Patrick Sharp.
Yeah, it was an awesome finish.
Yeah. Great job, UVM. Okay.
Taylor Coppenrath.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Who's that?
What was the kid's name? Lamb? Was it Anthony Lamb?
Yeah. That was the Jake era.
Yeah, that was the Jake era. Anthony
Coppenrath was from the parking lot.
Was it Larinaga?
No, that was
Fish.
That was George Mason.
Trey.
Or George.
Mike.
I know he was at George Mason. I know that.
Paige.
He didn't go to Vermont?
John. Yeah.
All right, yeah. Storied history.
Yeah, we got it all. Was Dirk Bentley that Russillo was friends with freshman year?
Oh, Sorrentine was from the parking lot.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No, it was what's his name?
This is great UVM history right now.
From the Bruins.
No, Tim
was it
Thomas?
Tim Thomas?
No, but I think he was friends with. Was it Dirk Bentley? He was friends with a country star freshman year.
It might have been Dirk's.
It might have been Dirk. We're doing some really good stuff. Yeah, Dirk Bentley spent a year at Vermont.
Then he
became Dirk Bentley and Russillo. Number one guy, Russillo. Okay, let's get to our interviews. We got Kirk Herbstreit talking some college football playoff, and then we have an awesome interview with Walter Hauser. Really, really great actor. Really cool interview. It is all brought to you by our friends at Chevy. There's a reason we've never done a Mount Rushmore of pickup trucks, and that's because, pardon my take, there's only one pickup truck, the Chevy Silverado. Why is that? Silverado's a partner you can depend on. We've all spent time driving and using Silverado for all kinds of, pardon my take, jobs, adventures, and other shenanigans. Silverado's been our ride for a cross-country trip to the Super Bowl. Silverado helped us dig the biggest hole ever in the state of Ohio last year at Grit Week. Silverado helped us give fullbacks the recognition they deserve with the Lone Man Award. And this year, Silverado was out west with our latest Grit Week. Silverado brings the grit to legendary grit, paired with modern truck tech inside and out, massive screens, up to 8 cameras with 14 different views to help make driving, towing, and parking all easier. We love the bold, blacked out look of the new Silverado HD Trail Boss. So head on over to Chevy.com, build your own Silverado or Silverado HD, and check out all the current offers of Silverado. Discover a world of strength and capability all behind the wheel of our favorite truck, the Chevy Silverado. We're also brought to you by our friends at Tommy John. Tommy John is hands down the best underwear I've ever worn. Everything Tommy John makes is meticulously crafted for breathable stretch fabric for the perfect fit. I'm wearing some right now. So be the GOAT, the greatest gifter of all time, and gift Tommy John. It feels good to give, but it feels great to give Tommy John, knowing you're upgrading their lives. With over 20 million pairs sold and thousands of 5-star reviews, give Tommy John this holiday tradition, and great days begin with great underwear. Hurry to TommyJohn.com/PMT for your last minute holiday gifts and save 30% site-wide, 30% off just in time only on TommyJohn.com/PMT. If you're listening to this right now and you haven't bought a gift for your husband, boyfriend, dad, anyone out there, the underwear at Tommy John is top-notch. They also have great sweatshirts, joggers, everything, but the underwear is the best. You're going to have to need the stocking stuffers. Do it right now with Tommy John. TommyJohn.com/PMT for last minute holiday gifts and save 30% site-wide, 30% off just in time only at TommyJohn.com/PMT. Okay, here he is, Kirk Herbstreit. Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest, friend of the program, recurring guest. It is Kirk Herbstreit getting ready for the college football playoff. He's going to be in South Bend on Friday night. He's going to be in Columbus on Saturday night. We're all pumped. Herbie, first of all, thanks for joining us. And I don't I hate to have to start in a negative light. I want to talk about these matchups, but I think we have to address the fact that college football feels like it's in a little bit of disarray right now. And what I'm talking about is the Bo Pribula transfer portal with Penn State. And I want your thoughts on it because I'm hoping that you have some galaxy brain fix. But for those that aren't aware, transfer portal opened a few days ago. The college football playoff has still yet to be played. We always knew this was a screwed up system, but Bo Pribula for Penn State, their backup quarterback, who does play in packages, and Penn State is going to be playing for a national championship and playing in the college football playoff in a couple of days, has hit the transfer portal, and this is the first time that it feels like we knew it was a problem, but now it's like this is a team that's going to be playing on Saturday that just lost a guy that is a weapon for them and does add a different dynamic. How the hell do we fix this? It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, we've been talking about this for so long, how nutty this is and how it's easy to blame the players. I think it's easy to look at it like how selfish are these guys? But I think if you put yourself in their shoes, I think the calendar and the way it's set up is difficult. I don't know Bo's case because I know Preston Stone and there's some other guys that have entered the portal, but they're staying with their team and into the playoff, like at SMU, getting ready.
Yep.
So I don't know why he felt the need to be able to enter the portal, but then leave. Maybe you guys can help me with that. I don't understand that aspect of his specific story on why he's leaving the team. I guess maybe he felt he had to go visit these schools to be able to really get a good handle on where he wanted to go. I have no idea. I know it's a little bit of revolving door for especially at that position when it comes to the portal. And some of these guys are trying to kind of be re-recruited like they're high school seniors again to try to figure out where's the best fit for them. So maybe he felt before someone else takes the spot that he wants, he needs to go visit while his team's playing in these playoff games. He needs to go visit these schools. That's the only thing I can think of why he left the team.
Yeah. I think that's exactly it, by the way.
Yeah, it's the calendar. I don't blame the kids because you do have an advantage if you're in the portal earlier. So you want to go ahead and make that decision. Now, one way to fix it might be if you could go into the portal and then you could actually join a college football playoff team. So you get like an impact free agent that just transfers out of nowhere with no connection to the school that could play.
Here's the one thing I guess I would say, because this whole thing has gone from like when I played, players had zero rights. For the majority of college football, the players have you have no rights. You just do what you're told, and it's like you're in the Marines. Yes, sir. You may have another kind of thing. And then we got to 2020 and COVID, and everything kind of changed. Then a realignment, and then we've kind of gotten into this world now where players are able to leave whenever they want to leave. We have NIL, obviously, that is a huge part of this. But if you even follow the NFL model, the players have restrictions. Like you can't be on the Bears and just say, "Oh, the hell with this season. I'm going to the Lions." Like you have a contract. You have to follow the contract. The NFL has very stringent rules. This is what we do as a teams. This is what you're allowed to do. This is what the players can do. So this whole idea of the players in college just doing whatever the hell they want to do isn't the right thing. Like it's not like like my kids, I had 4 sons. If my kids at 12 years old said, "Dad, I'm taking the car. See ya, I'm going to a party." At 12, I'd be like, "What are you talking about? You can't do that." The world we live in today in college football, it's kind of like, screw you. I'm taking the keys. Mm-hmm. And the coach is kind of like, well, okay, he's going to take the keys. What am I supposed to do? You have zero power. And that, it's cool to be that player and have fun, but it's not cool for you as in the long term for your growth and where you're trying to go as a human. It might be fun for that 3 and 5 year window, but as far as like what is great about this sport is what the hard shit you got to go through. The shit you think is annoying and why do I have to go through it? It molds you and changes you into becoming a better person down the road, whether it's as an employee or as a husband or a father, whatever it is. You got to go through some tough shit. You can't just like, this isn't fun anymore. I'm not playing. I'm out. Like, it just can't be that way. If you want to do that, I feel like coaches who leave, like they get a new job. They should have to finish the thing out before they go to their new job. Players, you should have to finish this thing out until you go to your new job. Like, I just don't. I think these players at this point, they need to sign contracts. I think we need a CBA. I think we need to form some kind of players union. I think we need to somehow create that. The other thing is it's almost like silo. Greg Sankey is in an SEC silo. The Big Ten's in a silo. We need to somehow create more of a national view of the sport. We're still governing the sport in the 80s, and the sport is in 2024. It's more of a national sport. So we need a national view on how we govern the sport. So we somehow need to get that national view to partner with the players union, create a CBA where you're held accountable. Okay, we're going to agree on NIL. Here are the rules we're going to agree on for NIL. Both sides agree. Here's the deal with transfer portal. Both sides agree. And whatever they ultimately come up with, it's a contract, and we sign, and then we obey the contract on both sides. I think that's where it's gotten. How we get there, I have no idea. But players just kind of coming and going and zero accountability to their team, that's not healthy at all.
Yeah.
And it really takes away from what this sport is about, which is the team trying to win games.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about.
It's a bummer, and I don't blame Bo Prabula at all, because the schedule is screwed up where it's still based on enrolling for classes, and that's the real problem. Is that, like, you have to figure out, like, kids have to do it before the winter or the spring semester, so that's why they have to do it right now. You can't be like, maybe it's the transfer portal just happens in the spring or after the spring semester, but then coaches would be upset because they don't have their team set for spring ball, all that stuff. But yeah, for Bo's case, like, the carousel and the musical chairs of quarterbacks in the NIL, like, if he waits until mid-January or early January, he's going to be shit out of luck. That's just the reality. Teams want to act right away, and if he waits, all these seats are going to be filled, so he's got to go and be active right now and take care of himself. But yeah, the system just is screwed up. I don't know how they fix it. I think it just really stinks.
Some stuff is going to change once the schools start to they get to pay the players directly now. I think that starts next season. So things are going
to be a big thing in April. I think something's going down in April. Hopefully by next year there's a new set of circumstances. Hopefully that'll be the case.
Yeah, so there'll have to be new rules put in place for that as well. But yeah, what's the problem with just saying, hey, I'm going to enter the portal, and then you finish out the season with your team, and then maybe you miss a week of classes at whatever that new school is.
Well, the one of the problem is if you sign with a new team and you get money and then you play with the old team and you get hurt, now what happens? Because, like, if you're, let's say you're Mizzou and you want Bo Prabula, and he's like, I'm going to keep playing for Penn State, but I'm signing with you guys. He gets hurt. Mizzou's not going to want him to play in those games.
That's
you
true.
know what I mean?
Maybe just make the transfer portal happen after the championship game. Like, we don't have NFL free agency before the Super Bowl.
But that's where the school schedule screws
but then now we're going to, like, pretend like these guys, like, the reason why they're at that school is for class.
Right. It's stupid. The whole thing's stupid. Yeah. So I wanted to start with that. It's a bummer to talk about. By the way, you mentioned your son. Or your 4 sons. How was the reception when your son committed to Michigan? That caused some waves.
Yeah, I've kind of stayed out of that world a little bit. I haven't seen a whole lot of reaction intentionally, just because I know 80% of the people are thrilled, 20% are going to be jackasses. So I just decided it's one thing to take shots at me, but if you take a shot at my kid, and you want to get in a fight, it's not hard for me to want to do that. So I just try to ignore that stuff the best that I can, and just kind of stay focused on the positive. What an opportunity for him. This is a kid that grew up a lifelong Ohio State fan of all my kids. Like, he's the guy that cried when they lose games. Like, he's an Ohio State junkie. Ohio State did not really pursue him to the point of offering him a scholarship. They were close to. They're like, listen, man, we're this new rule. That's the big thing with this new world that you talked about. Right now, you can have 85 on scholarship, but 125 are in the program. Well, the new world that you're referring to, this rev share, football is going to be affected, but it's going to go down to 105. So you can only have 105 guys on your team. Now you could put 105 on scholarship, but a lot of these guys are not. They're just kind of in a wait and see approach. So guys like my son Chase, who was kind of like that last fighting for those last couple spots for a scholarship or potentially at PWO, which would be a preferred walk-on. He's kind of in that area where he's fighting. Most of those guys, big schools like Michigan, Ohio State, and Notre Dame, the schools that he was looking at the most, they're almost, hey, why don't you go to the MAC? We're going to bring in this portal guy who we know a little bit more about. And they're really not into developing young players and investing and hoping that they become a great player. So Che got a huge opportunity to do this. Sharon Moore and his staff believe, and I think they've seen his competitive spirit and his fire and what he did on the field this year to give him this opportunity. And it's very different for our family because our family behind the scenes is scarlet and gray our whole lives. Big Cat, it'd be like you having a son he's Wisconsin born and bred, brainwashed, and all of a sudden he goes to Michigan.
Yeah.
It is quite a thrill. Obviously, we're beyond ecstatic for him. I went to senior day for my other son who had a heart situation. He was part of the senior class of the Ohio State players. So it was a family only event this past Sunday. And I went in there really nervous to wonder how the Ohio State coaches, because none of them texted me, hey, congratulations on Chase. I didn't hear anything from anybody. So I was a little bit, should I go? Should I not go? And I went because I needed to be there for my other son. It was a very cool event, by the way. Each position coach would have his guys come up, say something about each guy, and then that guy had to grab the mic and speak in front of all of his teammates and close to the media and the fans. And it was very emotional to watch some of these guys, Trevion Henderson, Emeka Buka, like they've been through some stuff. Not only lost it to Michigan, but just personal stuff. So it was very heartfelt day to be there to watch that. But I talked to Chip Kelly afterwards, talked to Ryan Day afterwards. Nobody said anything. It was okay. Okay, hey, I'll be here for I'll see you next week, Tennessee. Looking forward to it. I'll call you this week. It was just kind of like business mode, and but that's good by me.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, you're smart to stay out of the fray because I agree. If someone says something about your kids, it's on site. So that's smart to just ignore all of it. But congrats to him.
And a compliment. He's got some balls. He's got conviction.
Yeah.
So that's a man that knows what he wants.
Yeah. Yeah.
No doubt.
It's cool.
No doubt.
Yeah. It's definitely another wrinkle to the rivalry. So all right. So let's go to Ohio State because you're gonna be calling that game. Ohio State, Tennessee on Saturday night. I'm so excited for this game, and I think we're all kind of thinking the same thing. This Ohio State team is insanely, insanely talented. One of the teams that you could circle right now and be like, this team has all the dudes that could end up winning the national title. But where are they at mentally after what happened in Columbus against Michigan and the end of their season? And how do they get off the mat? Because it is just a very unique situation to have that type of loss with that much on it and that the 4-year buildup and then be like, oh, yeah, we're still going to play for a national title. So where do you think they're going to be mentally when it comes to Saturday night?
Well, again, just going back to that senior day, just behind closed doors, just with the players, it was interesting to be there because if you go by the outside world, the feeling of Ohio State fans, very dejected by the Michigan game, and nobody's seen really Ohio State since that the fight at the end of the game, and everyone just kind of left the stadium. I think that day I wasn't there, but just talking to my son and a lot of friends who went to that game, like, holy shit, what just happened? How did this happen again? Kind of feeling, and now Michigan's they're going to play in a bowl game, and Ohio State's going to a playoff game, and I think there's the fodder that's out there on social media. Screw Ryan Day. Screw the worst. I've heard people say everything. I hope they lose the first game and he's fired. I mean, just bizarre set of circumstances for a team that's, as you said, is one of the most talented. is in the playoff, hosting a playoff game, and you got that kind of noise by a fraction of your fan base. So I think the reality is what matters most is the players seem to be super engaged. They kept talking about this isn't good. Almost every guy up there that talked said, "Man, this isn't goodbye. We got 4 more to go." It was just it was. I don't know how many times I heard we have 4 more games to go, and I think they truly in their minds are buying into that. Kind of like March Madness when you get ready to make a run. You got to win a few weekends. I think their focus is on trying to beat Tennessee and go to the Rose Bowl and take on Oregon and down the line. And I think they believe that, kind of like if you go back to the team with C.J. Stroud when they lost to Michigan again, and then they had to play Georgia, and everybody wondered how would they play against Georgia. And it was like a different team when they played Georgia. If you remember, they played super aggressively. Stroud played out of his mind, scrambling around, making plays, really outplayed Georgia. And to Georgia's credit, Georgia ended up making the plays at the end of the game to win it. The vibe of the players reminds me of that. At the end of the day, though, guys, are they good enough? We can talk all day about Jeremiah Smith and all the receivers and all that, but the offensive line,
Yeah.
if you really watch the Michigan game, when they lost the center from Alabama, Seth McLaughlin, when he went down with that Achilles, I think that offensive line is a serious question mark going up against Tennessee's strength, which is their defensive front. So how will that battle go? I think will be a big factor because it was in the Michigan game, and they're not obviously getting any of those pieces back on that offensive line. So that to me will be the big thing. And then just the crowd, the energy in that stadium. I've heard Tennessee's going to buy 30,000 tickets. I don't know if that's true, but just the vibe inside that stadium. If things are going great, it'll be obvious, be right in their corner cheering, going crazy. If Will Howard throws a pick, how will the crowd react? If the poor field goal kicker who missed 2 against Michigan happens to miss a kick, how will the crowd react? If Tennessee gets a sack and a score, fumble and a score, how will the crowd like I'm just wondering what the energy, what you would think would be a night game at the Shoe, massive opportunity, home field advantage. You would think that would be the case, but if things go sideways, I'm just wondering how the environment inside the stadium will go.
I agree with you because I think Ohio State they've been practicing with a lot of pissed off energy. They've been very angry, right? So you got to channel that somehow, and I think they're channeling their anger obviously into preparing for the football playoff. But if something goes wrong, all that emotion that you've put in, all that pissed off energy quickly can turn on you. If that's been your reason for getting ready for this and things start to go downhill, then it can snowball on you and you can get down real fast. You mentioned the home field advantage. I heard that it's not actually as much of a home field advantage as you might think that it would be during the playoff because they're not doing like the normal game day operations at these schools. They're bringing in the national guys, so it's not like the scoreboard guys or the in-stadium audio guys are going to be the normal Ohio State people that run the show. It's going to be like a neutral site type of environment with all the media and all the sound, just that happens to be played in the Horseshoe. Do you think that has any impact on it?
I don't know, man. I won't. I guess I'm hearing those same things. I don't know what it's gonna. I heard when Tennessee runs out on the field, it'll be like a neutral site field. Like Tennessee will have their own entrance that they would have, that they've chosen with their song and their music and their energy running onto the field, which I think is really, really bizarre. Like when you go to South Bend on Friday night and Indiana comes onto the field, it's not like the normal, just the visiting team, boo, they kind of run onto the field and then the lights go down in the home field. I don't know how they're going to do it. I'm reading the same things you're reading. But that could be an interesting aspect, not just in Columbus, but all these playoff games. This is, again, uncharted waters. We have no idea really how it's going to go until we see it. With Notre Dame on Friday night in Indiana, is Indiana going to have their normal allotment of tickets? Is it just going to be a small little fraction of Hoosiers fans inside there? Are they going to get online and scoop up as many tickets as they can and try to may have a big showing because it's such an easy drive to go from Bloomington up to South Bend. I have no idea, but yeah, I'll have a lot more answers on the back end of this. But I cannot wait to see home playoff games and how it'll impact, like you say, the game ops, which obviously is a huge advantage for the home team, in normal set of circumstances.
Yeah, I heard no hang on Sloopy. They're not doing that either. That's worth at least 4 points right there.
Yeah, dudes, let me, again, at the risk of getting in trouble, I think there are schools that do an incredible job with their game ops. Like you go into the SEC, I think the home crowd and the people who run those stadiums, they look at themselves as, our job is to be a distraction to the enemy and to do everything we can to the line where we can't play music while the quarterback's, saying the signals and barking out the cadence. But we're going to walk right up to the line with the band. We're going to put microphones into the band, the music. We're going to go right to the line. We're going to maybe get a letter from the SEC commissioner that we can't do that. That's our goal every home game. And in the Big Ten, I think there's a few stadiums that do that. But I just feel, you guys tell me, I feel like the Big Ten's a little more traditional.
Yeah.
A little more of the band has as much to do with the game day experience as the team. So they're a little bit a tough spot between, like in the SEC, they hire a DJ.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to a break in the SEC and it's like the party's just beginning for the fans during TV timeouts. I mean, it is bonkers at LSU or Alabama or Georgia or Tennessee. It's insane during the TV timeout. And at Ohio State, it's, okay, let's go to break. We'll be back after this. And then it's, ladies and gentlemen, if you can pay attention to the north end zone, the 1973 fencing team back. Let's all let's get on our feet and show them some appreciation for the 1973 co-Big Ten champs. And it's like,
yeah. No, the easiest way to say it, that's perfectly put, because I can actually envision that. The easiest way to say it is, we just haven't figured out a way to get a light show up north yet. That's it.
No.
Like, we don't have the light show. I see the light show at Georgia, at Auburn, and it's awesome. Yeah, it's insane. The light show always, I'm like, why don't we have a light show?
It always tricks me. Yeah.
Light, music, DJ, like, feed the energy. Don't take it away.
It's so true.
Don't pull it away. Feed it.
Yeah.
You should go right up to that line.
Yeah.
Those guys are doing a great job if that's how they approach the game. It's like, I'm going to do everything that I can to fuck with the opponent, even though my job is to sit in a booth with a lanyard around my neck and like an officially issued team polo. I'm out there making a difference. I like that mentality.
Yeah.
I agree. It's like if you go to an NHL game, I'll go to these NHL games. I'm so blown away by the game ops and what they do, because it's a different 1997 to now. Like, your job to keep people off their phone and engaged in what's happening, that's a challenge, man. It's just a different world that we live in. A lot of people's attention span isn't the same, and it's easy to like get to a TV timeout, take a seat, look on your phone, check out what's going on. And all of a sudden it's like, the game's back on, and they try to take that away by keeping you engaged. And I really, when I see it and I see fans engaged during breaks, I pay homage to that, man, because it's not an easy thing to do in 2024.
It's so true. So this weekend with 4 games, you're a quarterback, these quarterbacks. Give me your top 4 quarterbacks playing this weekend that you trust.
Let's start Friday night. I think Riley Leonard, I don't know if I trust him yet. I don't know how many times he's really been challenged.
Right.
So I don't know. It's not that I don't trust him. It's just we don't know.
Right.
And can Indiana put him in a place where they get him into those third down situations where he's got to make plays with his arm, not just his legs, with his arm. I'm excited to see that. And Rourke, I've been blown away by that kid. Their whole story. I was early kind of like, it's Indiana, it's a cute story. And then I just kind of kept watching them and thought, and I stood next to Rourke in the Ohio State game. I was like, damn, that's an impressive looking dude. This guy's, I don't know what he's listed. He looks like he's 6'5" to me. Big, impressive guy. And I just think that kid plays with a serious amount of confidence for a guy that's in his first year. I think of all of them, that might be a guy that stands out to me. I don't know how much you've watched Tennessee, but Tennessee with Josh Heupel, we go back to Hendon Hooker or Milton. What do you think of? You think of 50-yard bombs, just taking shots in that offense because that's who they've been. This year, total opposite Tennessee team.
Yep.
They play to their strengths. Let's play defense. Let's run our all SEC running back, Dylan Sampson. And let's just take care of the quarterback. Let's spoon feed him, ease him in, not make him feel like he has to win it, where our quarterbacks in the past did. So it's been a very different style of approach as a head coach. Is that good enough to win in this environment? I think he'll call his game based on how his defense is playing against Will Howard and Ohio State. If they're forcing Ohio State to punt, he's going to play the way he has most of this year. A very conservative, hand it off, throw when you have to kind of approach. If Ohio State's scoring, then you'll see Nico, who's more than capable. You know his recruiting story.
Yeah.
He's a freak, but he's a freshman. So they've just been very, very careful with him. So I would say Will Howard, I know he's made some mistakes. He's cost his team in some big games. I just think because of the experience, I think there's a little bit more trust there. But do you trust the offensive line? I don't think you can because of the injuries. The Clemson Texas game, again, man, it's just been this.
I know.
I
asked that question because when you look at the quarterbacks in this playoff,
it's fair.
It's really up and down for a lot of guys.
Kevin Jennings at SMU.
Yeah.
He's a kid that, again, I don't know how many people listening to this or watching this have watched SMU football this year, but they started with Preston Stone, who's a little bit more traditional, and now they've got a version of a dual threat guy that they spread you out. You got to try to cover everybody, and then this guy's back there running around and has the ability to take off and run, has the ability to keep it alive and throw. He would be an interesting matchup for the Penn State defense. My big concern for SMU in that game is, like you would think, the line of scrimmage on both sides. I mean, Penn State, I thought, pushed Oregon around pretty well in the Big Ten championship game at the line of scrimmage. So how will SMU do it? And I looked at this morning at the forecast. All three games in Columbus, South Bend, and State College, no snow, but you're talking about in the 20s, 20 degrees. Not that it favors, and a lot of people are like, that favors Ohio State and Notre Dame, and I guess we'll see if it does. A lot of Ohio State's rosters from Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, so I don't know how it necessarily favors these teams in the North. I guess we'll see. It's been a big conversation point. When the playoff first started, it's like teams from the North are like, it's about time those teams from the South come up here and deal with the cold weather. Well, now you get your chance, in two of those games, and we'll see if it becomes a factor or not. But Ben, Big Cat, that's a great question on who do you trust?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's just been too inconsistent with most of these guys all year to really know who is that guy you can trust.
Yeah, it's Dylan Gabriel and Drew Aller is kind of really that's probably where I stop. And it's not saying the other guys aren't good. It's just like I'm talking about 3rd and long, down 4 with 5 minutes left. And
how about Georgia's situation? I know they're not playing. How about that?
Yeah, it's
crazy. Have they talked publicly since that game about what's going on?
I haven't heard anything. I'm more concerned about their punter. Their punter being injured. That's the real X factor.
That guy's a stud.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
So wait, with Texas' quarterback situation though, are you a little bit surprised that Arch didn't get more playing time in the SEC championship game? Because I felt like there was a moment where Sark he had a lever that he could have pulled, and he chose not to pull it. I don't know if that was intentional because he wanted to save him for the playoff, or if he was just like, you know what, Ewers is my guy. We're gonna live and die with Quinn. But do you expect to see more of Arch?
Man, again, I go back to that 8 overtime Friday night game with Georgia and Georgia Tech and think about what happened to Georgia's defense. And I know it's a different set of circumstances, but Georgia Tech ran a lot of zone read and power read and gave the quarterback an opportunity to utilize his legs or his arm, depending on how the defense of Georgia reacted. And they had so much success in that game that the next game was going to be against Texas. And I just thought that Sark, much like he did against Texas A&M, he would just have a little package in the red zone or short yardage to go to Arch, and as you say, pull that lever. I thought after, fresh off that Georgia Tech game, he saw something he might be able to attack using Arch's ability to attack the edges, but he didn't do it.
Yeah.
And doesn't mean he's putting Arch away. I just think for whatever reason, only Sark knows, he's one of the great offensive minds in the game. For whatever reason, he stuck with Quinn throughout almost every snap of that game. And it makes you wonder, in their next matchup against Clemson and down the road, how much Arch will be a factor, because that dude, I know everybody wants to compare him to his uncles, but he's probably more like his grandfather than he is his uncles, as far as, and he's much bigger and stronger. Looking at this guy, it's one thing you look at him on TV, then you go on the pregame and you look at these guys in person. Some of these guys just look so different than what your perception of them is. And Arch is one of those guys. I mean, his legs, I don't know if he lives under a squat rack. That dude is put together. He's not just a tall, slippery, boy, he's quick. He is powerful dude who can spin it. You talk about an excitement of where you want to see Texas next year with Arch having an entire offseason to build his game, but he's nothing like Peyton. He's nothing like Eli. He's really nothing like his grandfather, who was a really athletic guy. He's his own guy, and he's got the size that they all have, but his strength and his athletic ability, who knows what Sark will do in the offseason to build the offense around him. And who knows if Arch will get an opportunity here in these next potential 4 games that Texas might be playing. I hope we see more of him. He's fun.
Manning shouldn't be allowed to be fast. It's weird seeing him run with the ball.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. You just stay in the pocket. Maybe once every 3 years do a naked bootleg, and then everybody stands up and claps and laughs while you try to run for a first down.
Exactly.
That's the Manning way.
Right.
Yeah.
Not this guy. Wow. This dude's going to do. Now, I don't know if they're going to protect him from himself next year, but if he plays the way he wants to play, he's going to be running around people, over people. If you're a safety coming up there to tackle that guy, it's like tackling a tight end. I mean, that's basically who's athletic. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's a game-to-game approach for Sark and how they use Arch, and if they do. And not to mention, imagine a fan base. It reminds me of Tebow in 06 when he was a true freshman, and Chris Leak was the quarterback. But every time there'd be short yardage or red zone, the crowd at the Swamp would go crazy just with the idea that 15 might come jogging onto the field. And he would. And they were like begging Urban to bring him out. And it became almost, it's Chris Leak who's quarterbacking 90% of the game, but it almost became like the fans were just completely consumed with Tim Tebow, even though he's just doing short yardage. And that kind of reminds me a little bit of Texas. This is Quinn Ewers' team, but there's such anticipation and so much excitement about Arch Manning taking over. And I wonder if that impacts Sark inside the locker room on protecting Quinn and protecting kind of that feeding into that energy by not putting Arch out there as much as maybe you might think. Sark's a whatever it takes to win kind of guy. But I also think he's mindful of the makeup of his team, and Quinn Ewers is his quarterback, and I know that's impacted Quinn a little bit psychologically, just, hey, I'm the guy, and yet they kind of are rooting for the other guy. So I think it's a little bit tricky on how they manage that at this point in 2024.
Yeah, it's tough. So looking at these games, the spreads are pretty big. They go from last I checked, I think it was 7 to 12 point favorites in each game. If you had to pick one upset, because there's going to be one, who would it be?
What's the IU Notre Dame?
7.5 is what I'm looking at right now. I don't know if that's moved.
I would say IU. I'd probably say IU would be. What's the Tennessee spread?
I believe that's a touchdown.
Yeah, I think I'm not picking either one of those teams, but I mean, you could make a pretty strong case if you're a Tennessee fan or you're going to bet on Tennessee until you see the Ohio State offensive line more productive against a talented front. There's no reason to think that both those games, the underdog should have a shot to be competitive and maybe pull off an upset.
Yeah.
I do love the drama behind the scenes of the Tennessee fans being like, yeah, that stadium's going to be 30% orange, buddy.
You imagine?
Yeah.
Now they get 3,500 fans. What's Ohio Stadium these days? Over 100,000,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You get basically 3% of the stadium is going to be in orange.
Yeah.
If you get up, there's no you believe they maybe get 30,000 people in there? No way.
It'd be a testament to the fan base. Yeah.
It would be.
I saw
It would
another
be.
post. I don't know if it was from game day operations at Ohio State or if it was from somebody else that showed what the color orange looks like underneath their like LED lights that they have, and it looks red. And so now Ohio State's like, yeah, wear your orange. We're gonna turn you red. It's been a fun like behind the scenes battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is, and it's a scarlet out, right? So they're going to do the whole stadium if they follow the direction of what the Ohio State's requesting. So it'd be all scarlet and then bright orange. So you're right.
Terrible mix of colors when you put them together. Good on their own, maybe not great together. All right,
And Ohio State's wearing those all scarlet unis.
I know. They're doing color rush.
I don't like that.
They're doing color rush.
Wear your uniform.
Yeah.
It's a classic. Wear it.
Matter of fact, take all the stickers off the helmet. Like you start
There you
new.
go.
It's a new season right now.
Yeah. 4 games.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like
Four
that.
games. Maybe put on the stickers during the game.
Yeah, there you go.
Add up during the game. All right, so Herbie, this has been awesome. I got one last question. It's a Roback question. RHOBACK.com. Promo code TAKE. 20% off your first purchase. Q-zips, polos, hoodies, joggers, shorts. Roback.com. Promo code TAKE. 20% off. Last question for you is not about the playoff. It was a big story, obviously, last week. Bill Belichick going to North Carolina. How do you think this is going to work? Do you think it's going to – I mean, I'm of the belief that there is definitely a market for a coach in college to be almost like Calipari when he figured out the one and done before anyone else and being like, hey, guys, I'm not going to sell you on education. I'm not going to sell you on, this is a community. I'm going to sell you on come here. I'll teach you how to be a pro. And the scouts are going to know that if you can handle my system – you're a value in the NFL, and I'm going to get guys drafted.
I would see it's part that. Just put yourself as an 18-year-old recruit and knock on the door, and it's Bill Belichick at the door or on the phone. Coach Belichick's on the phone. I mean, just imagine what the power of that, right? But I'm telling you guys, Bill Belichick, he's one of those guys that if he ended up coaching high school football in Annapolis, I would not have been surprised.
Right.
He's not caught up in all the bullshit, all the noise that we all get caught up in. He is just an old school football coach. And I really think that his dad had a major impact on his decisions and what he does. I think there's part of him that's probably always been pulling at him to be on a college campus because of his time at Annapolis with his dad and before that at places like North Carolina. And I really think, as much as you guys are saying, hey, don't worry about the education, we're going to go build this roster and we're going to go win a championship, I think he's going to think about how I do both. I know his reputation is NFL and building a roster and winning Super Bowls, but I think there's part of him that I think is actually going to enjoy getting kids to buy into the demands of academics because of his background. I don't think it's going to be, hey, you didn't go to class, screw it, we're getting ready to win this game. I just don't think that's him. I think he's going to, the reason it took 2 weeks, we kept hearing, wait, they interviewed him? Like, how do you interview Bill Belichick? Like, it's one of those, if he says, yeah, I'm interested, it's like, you take it. But remember, it went for a while. So I'm sure he sat there and just gathered so much intel. Not only I need this for NIL, I need this for private plane, like whatever it is he needed. but I think he wanted to learn like the ramifications and the guidelines of like, what are we doing here? What's this world? So when he did step to the podium, it was almost like in his mind, like, okay, I can answer any question. I've studied this and analyzed this job and what it takes so much that I know what I'm ready to go and I'm ready to take it. And I think you guys are going to be surprised by what he builds. I don't think it's just going to be about, sure, he's going to try to win the national championship. That's obvious. And if you look at their schedule, they're in the playoff next year. Like, I mean, there's a very strong chance at North Carolina. I think their one game that makes you scratch your head is Clemson. Other than that, they might be favored in every game they play. Yeah. So get used to him getting teams to knocking on the door of the ACC championship and into the playoff. But I do think he's going to do the academic side. That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong just from the time I've spent with him. I think he wants to make that a priority as well, which I applaud him if he can pull it off.
Yeah. Herbie, we are a national sports podcast, and very rarely do we use our platform and advocate for something up, but I feel like it's an appropriate time. And I want to put your feet to the fire on this because you might not be in charge of it, but I think you have a say. You're a college football icon. You can make change if you believe in it enough. The Dr. Pepper tuition challenge is out of hand. The chest passes are ruining America. Might be symbolic of everything that's wrong with America right now, actually. But it's feeding into it. Can we do something about that? Either move the challenge back a little bit or mandate that they have to throw with one arm like a quarterback. It's a football game. It's not a basketball game. Make your passes with one hand. I want to see a spiral. Can we do something about that?
Bro, I love that. You know, I used to do the Eckridge challenge, and we would throw it from 25 yards, I think, 20 or 25 yards. And the target was just about the size of a basketball. I mean, it was hard. And you would throw that thing. It was almost like trying to make a shot from half court. I'm with you. You know, everybody, it's almost like Pop-A-Shot. They're just firing that thing away.
Right.
And it doesn't take any ability at all, right? So I think you're onto something. I think you move it back at least another 10 yards.
Yeah.
To take away that would take away the chest pass. And let me get down on the field next time I'm at a game. I'll get to the bottom of this. I'll find out what's up because it is embarrassing.
They've ruined it.
I don't blame the competitors. It's like the challenge portal. That's the best way to do it.
Right.
It's easier to do. You have
they figured out the answer.
Right.
They figured the answer out.
Right.
Yeah. So the game has to evolve as the players evolve with it.
Yeah.
So I think you can either move it back a little bit or just say, hey, you have to have one hand. It has to go above your shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I'll bring that up if I don't know the Dr. Pepper folks, but if I'm at a game and I'm down on the field, I'm going to make that a point to go over there and try to get to the bottom of that. I'll report back on that as well.
All it would take is if you boycott a game, maybe just don't even talk for an entire half. Just saying, you have the power.
I'm boycotting the game unless you get this shit fixed.
Yes.
That's where we are right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you for not boycotting the second half of the Niners-Rams game. That must have been tough.
That would have been a fair boycott. That was tough. That tests us.
Man, we've had a ridiculous year in a positive standpoint. I mean, our games have been awesome. The ratings are off the charts. And on paper, that looked like a really, really good game. And it just wasn't. It was brutal. We got through it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this Thursday. And then I got to put Soldier Field to finish it off.
Yeah. Good luck with that. All right, Herbie, thanks so much, man. We really appreciate it. You're the best, and have fun this weekend.
Kirk Herbstreit was brought to you by our great friends at Campbell's. Campbell's Chunky Soup. It's soup season. What a great time of year to enjoy some soup. I've been eating soup just about every day. I think I've had soup every day for the last 3 weeks. Today I've got some turkey and wild rice coming. Been mixing it up with some meatball, some loaded mac and cheese from Campbell's. Their chunky soup is outstanding. It warms you from the inside out. I love soup. I would drink soup, eat soup every single day of my life if I could. And Campbell's is the absolute best. Today's episode is brought to you by Campbell's Chunky Soup. It's the soup that eats like a meal. When you think chunky, you got to think of players like, I don't know, Jason Kelsey, Brandon Graham, Dexter Lawrence, Greg Rousseau, Sam Hubbard, Montez Sweat. List goes on. Chop Robinson, Trent Williams. These are all Campbell's chunky guys, and they want you to enjoy your soup this holiday season. Soup up. But even Trent Williams can't compare to my go-to. It's the beef with country vegetables. It's packed with great ingredients to keep me going strong. Chunky takes satisfaction to the max this soup season. Grab a can of Campbell's Chunky today. Get involved with soup season. Kirk Herbstreit was also brought to you by our very, very good friends over at Duke Cannon. Maybe you've seen Duke Cannon products in Target, Walmart, or your local hardware store. If not, let me introduce you. Duke Cannon makes a variety of men's grooming goods, big-ass bricks of soap, thick body wash, beard care stuff, colognes, and hair wash. They also donate money to veterans' causes each year through the Duke Cannon Veterans Fund. Simply put, they give a damn, and their products work hard, and they smell terrific. Most of the year, I'm a sawtooth thick body wash guy. Then in the fall, I like their Buffalo Trace soaps, but during the holiday season, which is pretty much here, I put their big-ass lump of coal soap on my wish list. It's a holiday classic, like Die Hard. Shop now at DukeCannon.com, Amazon, and Target, or Walmart. They're everywhere. Go forth and save up to 20% on Yuletide soap bundles and gift sets. The products, the packaging, you won't find better gifts for the men on your list this year than Duke Cannon. And now, here's Paul Walter Hauser.
Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest. He is an incredible actor, comedian, wrestler, Paul Walter Hauser. Paul, thank you for joining us. The wrestling part, I got to admit, I didn't fully understand. You're a wrestler, and you are part of Major League Wrestling. How did that start? I want to talk about the acting, but I was raised on the Attitude Era, so I'm not as much into wrestling right now, but I still love wrestling. How did you start with the wrestling?
Sure. Yeah. No, I I had done a wrestling show for charity that this guy Sammy Callahan put on. Him and John Moxley were trying to raise some money for the wildfire relief in Hawaii. This was November of last year. And it went from me like showing up to sign some autographs or do free selfies or whatever. It turned into, hey, do you want to have a wrestling match? And that was secretly always a desire of mine to try it. And I had been taking little classes here and there, learning from other wrestlers. And so I did this 10-minute match with a guy named Matthew Palmer, and it went really well. And I had a lot of fun, and there was sort of an adrenaline spike unlike anything I'd ever felt before. And I played like junior high sports, and I've done stand-up comedy in front of, 1,500 people. Nothing I've ever done felt as good as that. So
really,
I continued to pursue it and kind of doggedly got these other bookings and wrestled other reputable guys, and you learn a lot from them when you're working with them. And I'm now telling people that through MLW and a couple other companies, I'm doing like a reverse Dwayne Johnson.
That's awesome.
I love that. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. What's the biggest pop you've gotten?
Oh man, the biggest pop I've gotten was probably when in my first match when I did the crane kick and the 6-inch punch as a finisher. It was very theatrical, and I think people were wondering what my move style was going to be like. And obviously, I'm not doing backflips off stuff or anything, but I'm doing body slams and suplexes, and then I pulled out the Cobra Kai style crane kick, and people went pretty ape. That was a good pop.
You mentioned The Rock. It is. I mean, it's very funny because most wrestlers, they wrestle and then they get into music or movies because they're so good at wrestling. You're just like, I was such a good actor, now I want to chase my one true love, wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of different loves from an occupational standpoint. My heroes are guys like Rob Reiner and Kendrick Lamar and Sting, who wrestled famously for WCW during the Attitude Era. And I just want to partake in those worlds whenever it makes sense or whenever I think I can do it. And I haven't directed a film yet, but I intend to. I write a lot of movies. I've made some music, and now I'm trying this wrestling thing out. And I think a lot of haters online who don't like it and think it's like super lame. But at the same time, I think there's a place for everybody in wrestling. There's different types of people. The same way in hip hop, you have Earl Sweatshirt and you have Action Bronson, and you have Drake. These are different styles within the form.
Yeah.
And so I'm just one of those many styles in that form, I think.
I think if you're having fun doing it, people will appreciate it.
Yeah.
They'll see the passion.
And I'm just trying to put it over in the mainstream too, of like, if I could someday get nominated for an Oscar or a Tony Award, but I'm also doing an independent wrestling show in front of 800 people, I think that's kind of awesome. I like the idea of like if it were reversed and I'm just watching somebody do it, if a random character actor like a John C. Reilly or Paul Giamatti showed up at a wrestling show and wrestled and they were actually decent, I'd be very entertained by that, and I'd find it fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, you could have your own EGOT, the EGOT Plus. You get the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar, the Tony, and also heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah, or U.S. champ, or open weight champion in MLW. We'll see. I'll see how far I can take it.
Yeah. So you mentioned the Oscar, and it's interesting you brought that up because we have said on this show, I think we had Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, or no, it was Matt Damon and Casey Affleck on the show, and I said that if I could put in a bet, a future bet for somebody to win an Oscar for Best Actor, it would be you, because I love you in everything that you're in. You've played a wide variety of characters. Do you feel like that's a possibility? Do you see roles come across your desk and you're like, you know what, I feel like this could be one that's critically acclaimed?
Thanks, man. Yeah, I somebody sent me that clip the day it came out. A couple people that I didn't know were like diehard PMT fans. They were all hitting me up and sending me that clip. It was very humbling and sweet. I think anyone can win an Oscar but it's not even about acumen. Like they're so great they're going to win an Oscar. It's usually about the marriage of the role with the performer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there are people who back in the day in 93, 94, they looked at Brendan Fraser and Jamie Foxx and they were like, oh, the guy from Encino Man? Oh, the guy from In Living Color? And then they won Oscars for The Whale and Ray. So, you know, it's really just about that right marriage of role. I think I've had a couple roles that could have been nominated based on what they were and me showing up and doing the job. But yeah, I'm still looking for that thing where I get to really pop in a great movie and have some form of impact, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the Richard Jewell movie was incredible. I thought that
Good
was
movie.
Yeah, I mean, that was a movie where I was just like, your ability to like be Richard Jewell and have this complicated guy who's like you feel bad for, and you know he's just trying to do the right thing. That was one of those movies that I always base my movies on. If I'm thinking about it the next day when I wake up, that means it's a good movie, and that was absolutely the case for that movie.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, no, I think there's a couple movies I've gotten to do that I just think will stand the test of time. And I think luckily I'm in that Eastwood ether where whether he's alive or in 20 years when he's gone, it'll be the kind of thing where people will revisit that because it was Eastwood. And I think that's the same with Black Klansman.
Yeah.
It's Spike Lee, it's Adam Driver, it's, you know, it's this big film that did well, and I think I, Tonya too, with being such a time capsule piece for the 1990s and being a Margot Robbie thing where I felt like that and Wolf of Wall Street and Suicide Squad were the things that said this is like someone to pay attention to. This is someone who's crushing it.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun to be in those movies. I mean, you're never guaranteed that, but like when they come across your proverbial desk, it's like, oh, sick. I get to work with Craig Gillespie or Spike Lee or Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. Are you nervous at all that you're being typecast as secondary characters to the Olympics?
I listen, I'm hoping 20 years from now I put the stash on and I can play the gymnast coach for what's the name of that girl?
Bella Caroli, right?
Bella Caroli.
Carrie
yeah.
Strug.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Carrie Strug.
I got to play Carrie Strug's
gymnast coach.
Like,
yeah.
Gymnast coach in like 20, 30 years, right?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. I believe you could pull it off.
It's so weird, dude. It's so weird that like. It's so weird that I'm playing Chris Farley in this biopic next year because Farley famously played Sean Eckhart, my character in I, Tonya, in the monologue sketch with Nancy Kerrigan when she hosted.
Yeah. That is crazy.
And Jay Leno famously said when the Richard Jewell thing happened, like, this guy kind of looks like the guy that whacked Nancy Kerrigan, right? And it was like a famous late night joke that he referenced these two people together. And then Farley also was on SNL, and Richard Jewell ended up being on SNL.
Yeah.
After the whole debacle. So it's like there's just some weird incestuous creative thing going on with these roles. I don't know what it is.
So with Chris Farley, that must have been fascinating to play him in a biopic. I can't wait to watch it. I have to assume that you learned a lot about Chris as you're studying for the role. What have you learned about him that maybe you didn't know going into it?
Well, even before I got the role, and we haven't shot it yet. We're going to shoot it next year at some point, probably later in the year. But I knew so much about Chris going in because I was just a fan. So I kind of was reading up on him and ingesting Chris Farley stuff the way you would if you were preparing for a role. And I kind of knew most everything about him. What I found interesting is, he had this like very highly intellectual side where him and Tim Meadows used to go to foreign films when they were doing Second City in Chicago. And, Chris had these really deep conversations with his female friends that sometimes he couldn't have with his male friends. And there was just a very intellectual, sensitive side that not everybody got to see, especially if they were like a newer friend when he had already been very famous.
Yeah.
I think, in telling that story, we hope to show the duality of him as there's a duality to many of us.
Yeah. Are you, is it not nervous is the right word, but Chris Farley's beloved. And so do you feel pressure like doing this movie where you're like, I know that everyone loves Chris Farley, so I have to get to a point where it's like people are like, you did him, justice almost in playing him.
I think I love Chris so much that I'm incapable of letting Chris, and I mean, I'm not incapable of letting his fans down. Somebody can order a steak and you give them exactly the filet they ordered and they're still not happy.
Right.
And they send it back to the kitchen. Some people are impossible, but I love Chris so much that I'm not worried about, keeping his memory alive in an authentic and loving way.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to do that. And that's not cockiness. That's once again knowing what you're capable of too, and knowing that there are certain things you are just meant to do in some way. Like I met up with John Farley a couple years ago to talk about this being a possibility. His brother John, and I gave him my phone number, and he goes, "Why is your number already in my phone?" My number was already in John Farley's phone, and we had never met.
Huh?
It said Paul Hauser when he typed in the number. Weird things like that have been happening for a while. And I think some people are just supposed to play certain people. I think Jamie Foxx, God, his parents, like there's something in the ether that knew he was going to play that role. And I think this is one of those things that I was supposed to play. Jeff Bridges, when he got his first role, he has a story about how he told the director, like, I don't think I'm doing a good job. I think this is a mistake. You should fire me. And the director just said, no, I chose you. You're right for the role. You couldn't screw this up if you wanted to. You're the guy. And I think sometimes you're just the guy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
When it comes to playing a role like that, or do you go like full time into character, or do you, when the cameras are on, you flip the switch?
Well, I haven't done it yet. I've only starred or co-starred in 3 or 4 things. I think Jewel, Blackbird, this thing I did with Mark Wahlberg. He and I it was like a 2-hander. We're both in all the scenes. I've only done it like 4 or 5 times maybe. So starring in something is way more taxing than I, Tonya, or Black Klansman. I, Tonya, or Black Klansman, I get to show up, I'm doing my finger guns, and I walk out.
Mm-hmm.
But starring in something is exhausting in a way that I kind of didn't know until I did it. So my hope is that I can do my homework to a degree of precision and aggression that when I'm on set, I can be very calm and not in character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's my hope, is that I do the homework enough to still be emotionally available to the crew and the cast. 'Cause you don't want to alienate people. Even if you are doing a job, it's like, it's too important to me to be social with people and to be on the level to alienate them. So when I watched the Jim Carrey documentary about him and Andy Kaufman, I saw that Jim had kind of alienated a lot of people in his process. Jim Carrey, who I adore, by the way. But that process of kind of like alienating people or pushing them away, I've sort of decided I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you're acting in a show like Blackbird, and it's probably not I don't know, is it a fun role when you're playing a psychopathic serial killer? Like, do you have fun? Because you did, first of all, I'll just say, like, you did an amazing job in that show. It was incredible. But I can't imagine that it would be an enjoyable time for you to spend in character as like the scummiest person to ever live.
It depends on everyone's process, but it was not fun for me. I can tell you that much. I was not in a good place personally when I shot that. Mentally, emotionally, was not in a good place. Spiritually, not in a good place. And was definitely ingesting a lot of marijuana and alcohol when I wasn't on set. And also we shot in New Orleans. That's a pretty spiritually thick place. You can kind of feel the air a little bit there sometimes. And I would say the way I played the character, my process was I have to think the thoughts. I can't just say the lines and hope that it seems real. I had to kind of get into the icky of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so having to think the thoughts, to have it register in the eyes when you say lines of dialogue, you feel very guilty when you rap at the end of the day. You feel gross.
Yeah.
And, I only did it because of the damn character, but it's also a little mentally exhausting and you feel really gross. So yeah, no, that character was hard to play. That wasn't easy and it wasn't fun. What was fun was the fact that the writing was good and I was getting paid decent and I was working with brilliant actors like Greg Kinnear and Taron Egerton.
So after a day on set there, is there something that you would do to like cleanse yourself to wipe that day away?
Yeah, and I didn't cleanse myself well. Like I was saying, I would grab a sandwich from Turkey and the Wolf, and I'd get stoned, and I'd sip a cocktail. But a lot of self-medicating. But I the sort of PG things that I was partaking in were me and my buddy Anthony Pettix would go shoot hoops at a local, court in somebody's neighborhood in New Orleans, or we'd play Super Nintendo or watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like there were things that kind of like were pressure releases.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, Larry David was very influential to me, being able to laugh at the end of a dark, awkward day.
Yeah. So you've done drama, you've done comedy. Is there one that you prefer more than the other at this point in your career?
I think I prefer drama because there's just a complexity to it that has more of a variance and a diversity. Comedy sort of can feel redundant sometimes, and that's also why even your favorite comedians make comedy movies that you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Leo, every time Leo or Denzel do Leo or Denzel, in a drama, we're all just like, boom, another one.
Yeah, right.
But like comedy, there are brilliant people who do comedy, and we're like, that movie sucked. Why isn't it as good as the one they made 8 years ago?
Right.
And it's like, well, comedy can get very redundant, and after a while, you learn somebody's shtick, whereas like drama, you're living in different worlds and different moods, and you can keep them guessing a little bit better. So I think I enjoy watching and doing drama more, but at the same time, my roots are entirely stand-up and sketch comedy. I grew up on Jim Gaffigan and Monty Python and, Chris Farley and Eddie Murphy and everything.
Yeah. Wait, so when did you start doing stand-up? Because that was how you started, right?
Yeah, when I was 16, I started writing screenplays and started doing stand-up comedy.
Oh, wow.
That was like the year it got really aggressive, where I was like, I'm going full throttle, full bore. And my last 2 years of high school, I did 3 plays a year, wrote for the school newspaper, did choir, was in barbershop quartet, was class president 1 year, was writing scripts and doing stand-up. So it was like I was trying to do the John Cena, Dwayne Johnson schedule before I was actually able to do that type of schedule. I was nuts. I thought stand-up or screenwriting might be a way to break in. I didn't know how to break into Hollywood. I thought, well, they say you can climb the wall, you can break through the wall, you can pay someone to get you through the wall. What's my way? I'll just try all the things. What I would find out is that stand-up is incredibly hard to break into, even if you're decent. And I don't think I was good. I think I was decent. And I think I think I got away from stand-up because I just didn't want that lifestyle of you're in a depressing atmosphere. You have to wind your wheel up on your back and make these people laugh, and you're constantly having to prove yourself. Whereas I could go into an audition, and 2 minutes into the audition, they're like, you got the job. You're the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much easier than stand-up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you get treated exponentially better.
So what point in your career were you like, all right, I think I've not broken through, but like this is people are noticing, and I feel like they see something in me.
I think I was telling somebody, I think like the show Kingdom that I did about the MMA fighters with Frank Grillo and Matt Loria, Jonathan Tucker, Nick Jonas, that show was sort of my like associate's degree, and me breaking in. I, Tanya was like the end of the associate's degree, where it's like you're getting your bachelor's now. People know your face, but not your name. And then Richard Jewell was like sort of the last year of the bachelor's degree, where it's like, hey, people now are starting to know your name, and they're starting to think of you in a different light because you're not just a silly idiot. You can act too. And I think Blackbird is like the start of trying to gain a master's degree.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to do that right now. The next 4 years is me trying to get the master's degree, and in my early 40s, hopefully I'm mastering this stuff. And you know, you look at a quarterback, that's about the age. Early 40s is like, okay, you've put in your time, and now that's your legacy right now. We know Tom Brady is Tom Brady, or Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I think you will be like one of the biggest actors in the world in the next 10 years.
From your mouth to my business manager's ears.
You should be. You should be. We said this might have been the same interview, but you should play Andy Reid in the Andy Reid biopic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Damon was like, "I'm going to hit Hauser up about that." I'm like, "He never hit me up about that."
He didn't hit you up?
Where's my Andy Reid phone call? No,
Yeah.
I am developing a movie with Ben and Matt though. Something that I'm going to act in and produce, and I co-wrote.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Wait, and are you a Jets fan? Did I read that right?
So here's the story on that. I 2 years ago got an email, 2.5 years ago, saying the Jets organization would like to invite you to get 2 to 4 VIP passes and sit in the owner's suite.
Okay.
And I was like not in New York at the time, and I was a lifelong Packer fan and was like, I this is weird. Like, I wonder what propelled them to do that.
They're recruiting fans. Yeah.
Who knows? And I then I got this movie, this Springsteen movie I'm doing right now in Jersey. And I was like, I wonder if that offer's still on the table. I literally went to my Google emails and was like looking up Jets in the search engine of my past emails, found the email and emailed my PR people and was like, hey, I know it's it's like an Norm Macdonald voice. Yeah, I know it's 2.5 years later, but can I still go to a Jets game for free? Like, we'll just say I'm a Jets fan, you know? So I did that, and they were like, let us check. They were like probably weary about it. And then there I was 2 days ago. What day is today, Monday?
Yeah.
Yesterday. So yesterday I was at the Jets game with my buddy Darren, and we're sitting with, the owner or co-owner, Chris Johnson, and his wife Doris, and they could not have been sweeter and nicer and more down to earth. And we're noshing on lobster rolls and eclairs and watching the game surrounded by all these wealthy people that I felt very out of place with.
So not a Jets fan, but then you got to see your old quarterback, because you're a Packers fan, your old quarterback Aaron Rodgers play. It's not going well.
It's rough because all the talent's there, but not everything's connecting, and it's it's tough too. Like, not everybody can stay. So you can be talented, but not have the sharp or crispness that you once had. And it doesn't mean you're not good. It just means you're a 42-year-old quarterback or a 44-year-old quarterback, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think actors are like that too. To bring it back to acting, it's like some actors, and I won't say their name as to not be rude, but when they get older, they're just not as sharp.
Right.
And it doesn't mean you don't enjoy them. It just means they don't have that crispness. And then there are some that stand the test of time and are giving psychotically good performances in their 80s and 90s. And that class of actors, like a Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins can still be as good as he was in Silence of the Lambs tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a very rare thing. And I think, Rodgers, the best days are probably behind, but I loved watching him. And I met him at the ESPYs. We did a comedy skit together, and he could not have been cooler. We had a lot of fun talking to each other.
Wait, so that's something interesting you bring up. I never really thought of, like, is there not an expiration date, but is there a career arc for an actor where it's like they become washed up? And is that something that you actually think about in the back of your head, where you're like, I'm in my prime right now. I gotta work because who knows at 60 will I still have it?
I don't worry about that so much because I also know I'm fiercely competitive and I'm not fully mentally well. So I know that when I'm 60, I'll still be getting weird and doing different stuff. Doesn't mean I'm better than so-and-so. It just means that's how I'm built. I think I may be proven wrong in 30 years, who knows? But my hope is that when I'm 60 and maybe have a couple more nominations or something under my belt, and some people are like, that's a classy actor. That's a real actor, that guy. Like, I hope I'm still showing up and doing shows like I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson.
Yeah.
I hope I'm still showing up at WrestleMania and someone's putting me through a table. Or I hope MLW is still having me back. And, these are the things I do think about, is never take away your self-amusement and your competitive spirit and your sense of play. And I don't think that'll happen to you,
What's it like being competitive as an actor?
Dude, people don't even think about it the way I think about it. I'm a weirdo. Like, I'm way too insecure and in my head with competitive nature. I don't think guys like Paul Dano and Adam Driver think the way I think. I think they're very content, focused, and they probably don't think about it as much. I very much think about the guys in my bracket, and I'm, Aaron Paul said to me very early in my career, I did a movie with him that few people saw, and Aaron Paul gave me advice. He said, you got to beat the town. Who are you the next of? Who are you up against? Who are the guys you see at all your auditions? You got to beat those guys out. And I kept a list of like 30, 40 guys that I was slowly trying to get all the jobs. And then eventually there were like me and 4 or 5 other guys in the top bracket. And I was like, damn, okay. And now I'm at the point where if these 3 people pass, they come to me. It's like, I'm still in my head. I'm still like, I still have this dogged obsession of I want to be the guy that gets the offer before them.
Yeah.
But that also never stops, because Christian Bale says that about DiCaprio. He has been very vocal about saying, like, if DiCaprio passes, I get the offer. And it's like, so maybe that happens forever,
Yeah.
Yeah. Or do you pay attention to the guys that are coming up behind you too? The relatively new guys? Or are you like, this guy, he's getting a little too close to me. I need to separate myself.
Oh, no. Never that. It's all support. It's all love.
Yeah.
It's just me trying to make me the best, not to anyone else's detriment or put down. It's just me trying to show my teeth every time I open my mouth. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love the guys coming up. I love Will Poulter, Fred Heckinger, Joseph Quinn, Chalamet is great. Like, there's a lot of guys coming up that are great, I think.
So what's the story of the rumor that surrounded you, the Quentin Tarantino rumor?
Fake news.
What happened with that?
It's all fake news. It's Tarantino and I have never had a meeting. He's never contacted me. Some random blog site said that I was in contention, or it was overheard that I had been offered the lead in The Movie Critic, and it was news to me, and me and my manager were freaking out. I remember I was sitting on the toilet on my cell phone. I'm like texting, and suddenly my phone blows up, and I go on Twitter, and it was just like, bring, 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 and all these people are talking about it. I was like, what the hell is going on? And, for us, we thought maybe it was true, and we just hadn't been given the offer. Maybe somebody internally spilled the beans at a luncheon at the San Vicente Bungalows, and somebody texted somebody and they put it online. You never know.
Yeah.
But it turned out that I guess Bill Maher had Tarantino on his show, The Basement Show, that looks like everybody's a prisoner to Bill.
Oh yeah, the one where he smokes weed in front of Hawk Tuah girl and asks her about addiction.
Everybody looks like a kept woman while he drinks and gets high.
Yeah.
But yeah, he and Tarantino very briefly talked about me, and Marr was kind of putting me over, saying like he was in Richard Jewell, he was good, and Tarantino was like, yeah, he's been in a few things, but whatever. I think people just thought I was going to cast him because he looks like he could be a movie critic, and I was like, oh, like it totally was like a kidney shot from a boxer. I had to take a knee and be like, oh, that hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I was in contention, but also like, there's a real world out there where wars are being fought. If I'm not in a Tarantino movie, I think I'll be okay. But
Yeah.
I do love the guy. I love his work, and I'd love to be a fly on that wall and do anything in one of his movies.
Yeah, and also I think if you're having your name thrown around in baseless rumors for a Quentin Tarantino movie, but they're believable enough where people are like, I could see that happen, that's probably a good thing too, right?
Certainly, yeah. It certainly brings a smirk to your face that people can believe that. And I've had meetings with big name directors who were thinking about using me for something, and for whatever reason they went another way. And if anything, that is just fodder for encouragement. Like, hey, you never know. You could wake up and I could be doing a recurring guest star on a sitcom, or I could be in a Spielberg movie, and it's kind of a fun, exciting way to live your life, to sort of feel the pendulum swinging back and forth. And the key is to just have fun and honor every commitment. Treat a scrimmage like the Super Bowl is what I always tell young actors, because you never know who's watching, and you want to honor the fact that anyone gives a crap about you and gave you a role, because they could cast somebody else.
Yeah.
We've
got some pretty deep connections in Hollywood. Jerry O'Connell is a good friend of ours.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever met Jerry O'Connell?
No, but I'm a fan. I love his brief but impactful performance in Can't Hardly Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I've certainly been a fan of his from Stand By Me.
Mm-hmm.
And he seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
I noticed
McGuire?
you didn't mention Kangaroo Jack.
Or his supermodel wife.
I think it'd be a little shallow to just say that he's got a hot wife and did the now cult classic Kangaroo Jack, right? I was trying to go for deeper cuts.
Yeah, no, supermodel wife, though, you can say right off the top.
I loved his wife when I was 13.
Supermodel wife. He's got a supermodel wife. You can Google it. It's fact.
I'm happy for it.
She's a very nice lady.
Is it Rebecca Romaine?
Yes,
it is.
Yeah, you
know exactly.
You pervert. You're a pervert.
Yeah, you played that cool. What's her name? Rebecca Romaine? Yeah.
It's not like I know how to spell her last name, capital ROMIJN.
Exactly. That'd be crazy.
I would like to see you and Jerry in a movie together. I feel like that would be
yeah,
good.
You and Jerry. Jerry's a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe that's the next hit sitcom is he's my stepdad and I'm like we're trying to help each other out and we're both total messes or something.
No, yeah. I think it'd be better if he was your dad and then Rebecca Romaine is your stepmom. And you're
Stacy's mom has got it going on.
There it is. Hey, so you've been in some you've had some great like part roles in some incredible comedy and sitcom. You were in Reno 911, you were in Always Sunny. Have you ever made anyone break in filming those where you're like, man, this is awesome? Because I always think about that when you're like in those big shows and it's like, yeah, I made all these funny people laugh.
Yeah, that happens on occasion. I'm trying to think when it's happened for me. I don't think it was. I think I remember I broke Tom Lennon once or twice on Reno, and that was a big feather in the cap.
Yeah.
And I broke a couple of the Sunny People once or twice, and that was a big feather in the cap because I love those shows so much. They're two of my favorite shows of all time. So for me, that's those moments mean as much as winning a actor trophy. Like those are your own trophies that you get to ponder whenever you're having a bad day.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, is it weird like having a show like Always Sunny where it's like you watched it probably as a fan and then they call you up and they're like, hey, we want you to be in
Dude, it was nuts. I was at college. I was dropping out of college in Oak Park River Forest, this place called Concordia University. I was basically dropping out, partying my face off, ballooning up in weight, and writing a movie script for Key and Peele because Mad TV had just gotten canceled, and my manager at the time repped them. He's like, you want to write a movie for these guys? They're looking for something to do together. And so I'm writing a script for Key and Peele before they have the hit show, and I'm dropping out of college, and most of my days were spent watching Dirty Work and Wet Hot American Summer and episodes of It's Always Sunny. And so a year later to be in the room auditioning for the show was crazy.
Yeah.
And then stepping into the bar, I vividly remember I brought my friend a set, which was such a thing. Like I had a weird flex back in the day where I just didn't ask permission for anything. I would just bring one of my buddies to set and he'd be hanging out with me all day without asking anybody. So like my buddy Peter Hins, this really funny dude, he and I walked into the set of It's Always Sunny, and walking into that bar and seeing everything, it was like the Wizard of Oz or something. Like we could not believe we were in the bar of It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
That's
so awesome.
That's gotta be crazy. Going back to making people break on set, that never happens in a show like Blackbird, right?
I wouldn't say it never happens. I mean, there's a famous clip on YouTube of somebody, I think it might have been Phil Hartman or somebody, had a fart machine in the elevator in a scene in The Master, the P.T. Anderson film. That's a pretty serious film, or at least an intense film, and they had a moment where everybody broke and it was like over a fart joke. So like it can happen, but I would say most of the time on Blackbird, 98% of the time we were both locked in, deathly serious about the work. But I will say you have to keep stuff light outside of it.
Yeah.
And I think there were a day or two, not that he ever truly showed it, but there had to be a day or two where I annoyed the crap out of Taryn, like in between takes or in between setups, where I'd be doing an accent or a celebrity impression or dancing or being stupid. And for me, it was like therapeutic, but for him, at some point, I'm sure it proved distractionary.
Yeah.
But like you got to break up the intensity somehow. You got to stay sane. And for me nowadays, if I'm having a rough day for whatever reason, I just watch a couple clips from I Think You Should Leave on Netflix and I'm out of it. Or I'll watch a really good wrestling match from MLW or another organization on YouTube, and it makes me feel better.
Who was your favorite wrestler growing up?
Sting was my number one. Still
Okay.
is.
It still is.
Still is. Well, he retired, but you know what it is. It's
Yeah.
Everybody's got their Mount Rushmore. He's the top of mine. And I think I just admired the fact that he was second fiddle to Hulk Hogan in that good guy era, but Hogan was like never really selling for other people. He was always saying like, I'm the dude, you can't get one over on me. And Sting would sell for people. Sting, you could beat the crap out of Sting, but he would still come back.
Yeah.
And I feel like I saw that more than I saw with Hogan, and I admired that. Loved the flair and pizzazz of the guy, going from Surfer Sting to the Crow Sting, and he got all dark and serious and fought the NWO with just a baseball bat and a silent face. Like, there was something so cool about that. And he stood the test of time, and just recently, had his final match back in the spring of this year in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I got to be there, and Tony Khan allowed me to sit ringside with some dear friends. One of my oldest friends, Ryan Kunitzer, who, I've known the guy 30-something years. Sting was like our guy, and we're standing there, nearly emotional as he has his final match. It was amazing.
That's incredible.
Who else is on your Mount Rushmore?
So there's two types of Rushmores, right? There's the one where you're trying to objectively give the top four from the worldly perspective, and then there's personal Rushmore.
Yep.
Which one do you want?
I want personal.
Yeah, I want personal.
Personal Rushmore is Sting, Bret Hart.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ric Flair and Chris Jericho.
Oh, okay.
I think those are the four. But Jericho's tough too. He just sneaks in there past a couple other guys like Ricky Steamboat or Randy Savage.
Yeah.
Randy Savage, he was the best.
Yeah.
I miss that guy.
Macho Man.
Yeah.
I think
so
my
good.
top 10 has a bunch of random guys too. Like, they're not who you'd think. I don't go for the low-hanging fruit of The Undertaker, Andre the Giant, and Shawn Michaels. Like, I like guys who are impactful in different ways. I love Dustin Rhodes, a.k.a. Goldust, Rey Mysterio, Mick Foley, Kurt Angle. Not all the people that get put at the top.
Yeah, Mankind is probably on my Rushmore.
I've got a really dumb question for you.
Unreal.
But I think about this with actors.
I'm a very
sometimes.
dumb person. Serve it up, bro.
All right, how much time do you put in behind the scenes just literally memorizing your lines?
Depends on the role. Depends on the role. There are certain things like Richard Jewell. I would learn my lines a week, like 5 to 7 days in advance, and I'd be very overly familiar with them, and it could kind of fall out of me a lot easier. And then there's other things. If I'm doing a comedy, there's just less of a stress of learning the lines. It just feels like, I don't know. It's like Bam Margera, the skateboard. Like, it's not like he's in shape and skateboards all the time, but like he can still jump on a skateboard and do whatever because he's Bam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about comedy. But I think that's actually a really dangerous way to, it's a dangerous attitudinal stance because you can then sometimes give 85% when you should be giving 100.
Yeah.
So it depends. But yeah, I my whole thing is I learn one page at a time. So I'll always know the first page of dialogue better than the last. But I for me, that's just my process. I learn one page at a time. The biggest audition I ever had page-wise, I think I Tanya was 13 pages. I memorized, and I think Scream 4 I memorized like 15 pages.
Jeez.
So when you're rehearsing for like Black Klansman, there's some lines of dialogue in that movie you probably would never want to say in any context besides in front of a camera, right? Are you rehearsing like the full lines?
Yeah, if I have to like feel the words and say them in a way where you don't feel the timidity in the character. Because like I've met some weird racist ass dudes at dive bars, or one of those low key racist guys who's like putting the bait out and seeing if you'll touch the pole line.
Yeah, seeing if you're friend or foe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Uber driver who's like talking politics, and then it's like, yeah, you know how these people are. And then they're looking at you in the rear view, and you're like, I want to freaking die right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in this guy's car. I've met enough of them that like, you can't have timidity. It's got to be, if you were born with that ideological stance, it has to be as normal as, well, yeah, we always have pork chops on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it just has to be normal to you. So you don't say it because you're like, look at me, I'm saying the rap lyrics behind closed doors. You're doing it because you have to make sure it's right. But I would say what's harder is when you improvise with a bad character.
Yeah.
There were lines that I said in Blackbird and Black Klansman that I improvised that you feel very guilty about because afterwards you go, well, that wasn't in the script and you still got there. So how'd you get there? That's tough.
That's acting.
Yeah, that's acting.
Yeah.
That's really good acting.
It's also acting.
Yeah.
It's also sometimes good acting. And you're like, oh, that is a really good line. Unfortunately, it's devastatingly awful, but that's who you're playing on the day.
Yeah,
So,
unfortunately, it's really, really racist, and you came up with it all on your own.
Yeah.
I had a disgusting moment where I felt so bad. I'm doing a scene with John David Washington, who's about as likable and sweet of a person as you can get on a movie set. And I did something where I stuck my mouth out to look like a ape or a primate with my tongue to piss him off in this scene. Now, Spike gave me the direction of, you're up in his grill, do something that could provoke him, but he won't be provoked.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's what I thought of for that character. But the moment after it was done, I went up to John David. I go, hey, man, I just want to say, and he goes, I know. Like, very much said it like, I know where you're going with it, and we're on the same page here. Don't take your foot off the pedal just because you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I really admired his grace and professionalism with that. And there have been moments like that in other projects. And sometimes you just got to be able to have a conversation preliminarily too. Sometimes I won't do something because I'm like, I don't want someone to create a story of me being a bad person because I made a creative choice. So let me run this by them first to make sure they're comfortable. And 90% of the time, the other actor's like, oh, you shouldn't have even told me. You should have just done it.
Right. It's like before you step into the wrestling ring.
Yeah.
That too. I'm always asking wrestlers, like these guys in MLW, that's their locker room. I'm a guest in their locker room. I'm new to the roster, and I really respect those guys and gals. And it's always about finding out what are we doing and how do we do it the best way that doesn't complicate something or hurt anybody long term.
Yeah. So, Paul, this has been awesome, man. We really appreciate you joining us. I got one last question. It's the Roback question. RHOBACK.com, promo code TAKE. 20% off your first purchase. Q-zips, polos, hoodies, joggers, shorts. Roback.com, promo code TAKE. I mentioned it at the top, but Major League Wrestling, there's free pay-per-views, free matches. The big streams are on YouTube. So the last question I have for you is, if wrestling started taking off for you and they're like, you have to give up acting, would you do it? Like really take off?
If they gave me that ultimatum and something weird happened where say in 2026 I undergo the Chris Pratt style transformation.
Yeah.
And MLW's taken off and they got a show on TV and they want to put a belt on me and we're doing the whole thing. If that opportunity presented itself, I would just hold my ground and say, you have to let me do both.
Yeah.
I don't think I would take the deal because at the end of the day, I love acting. It would hurt my feelings. It would hurt my spirit to not get to act in some capacity. And you got to ask my wife. My wife, Amy, is such a patient, grace-driven woman. She knows that when I go 3, 4, 5 months without acting, I'm not that fun to be around. I'm like starved for attention. And I'm like hell-bent on making my jokes, and suddenly I'm in the kitchen and I'm trying to turn into Anthony Bourdain or Guy Fieri. It's a very, we're sick people, actors.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think it would hurt the soul and the brain too much if I didn't do it. But I do think that there's a way to do both, and I'm trying to prove that. And the other thing to anyone listening, like, know your value. If you're good at what you do and somebody's saying there's an ultimatum, tell them, give them a counter ultimatum.
Yeah.
That you need to do both. And, you'll find out that when you stick to your guns and you are who you say you are, you should be able to do both.
That's a great sentiment, and it's also what you said about like going crazy when you don't act for a while. That's why you're an incredible actor. I mean, we obviously we do a stupid podcast, but when we go 5 days without talking to each other about sports, we're like, what the fuck? Like our brains start to go crazy.
It nourishes your spirit to do these things you love, and I really believe in not to be too preachy. My dad's literally a retired minister. But I believe that God put us all on earth to do different things, to embody something that can benefit other people. You guys do it yourselves. You entertain and educate people on topics they're interested in, and you give people a reprieve from a dark, twisted, difficult world. And I think I do the same. And it's when you feel that inside yourself and you go, man, I feel thirsty for this thing. That's God's way of telling you you're meant to do that.
Yeah.
We're put on the earth.
So I would
bets.
encourage people, follow the breadcrumbs, follow the trail of passion, because it's there for a reason.
Yeah, I
like
appreciate you telling us that we educate people. We haven't educated a single person.
No, we did.
Well, you educate them on other people, right?
We did. We educated
Sports or movies?
numerous NFL head coaches on what to do in the fourth quarter of a playoff game if you're losing by 2 scores and it's 4th down, 4th and 8. Do you kick the field goal or do you give the ball back to Tom Brady to beat you in the NFC Championship game?
Listen, you guys were the first people to say the Andy Reid thing. So if that happens, we can go back and be like, these guys educated us.
That's true.
Yeah.
They were prophetic.
Yeah.
I mean,
this was happening.
You would absolutely kill an Andy Reid role.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm looking to work with anybody who's kind, who treats people well, and wants to work hard and tell a good story, whatever that looks like. It could be a sitcom, it could be a little indie foreign film, it could be anything. But at the end of the day, you hope to do something that you're proud of, And I never want to be that actor who just takes a bad movie for a lot of money. I have 2 children who are going to be in private school, and life is not cheap. It can be very difficult sometimes. So I'm sure there's going to be that temptation too, but I try to make things that I would want to pay my hard-earned money to go see at the AMC Theater or the Regal Cinema.
Yeah, I think it comes across too. So is there one role, not one that you have like the ball in motion for? So taking out like the Chris Farley, any of that stuff. Is there something that you've been fascinated with a story or an individual that you've just been really, really interested in, who you would like to play, or a role that you would really like to play at some point?
Good question. Yeah, I'll leave you with this. I have 3 roles I really want to inhabit in the next 5 years. I wanna play Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, Oscar.
Yes.
Oscar. There you go.
Yes.
Oscar.
And that's another one where I know I can play him. I'm not even worried about it. I just have to convince other people to want to do it. The other one is a father who knows how to be present and not on his phone all the time.
Okay, good role.
That's a role I really need to inhabit and get better at, because
sci-fi.
I can be. Yeah, it's a fantasy. This is a genre. And the as a father, I want to inhabit that characteristic. The third role is I want to kick somebody's ass in MLW, and I'm going to be doing that Thursday night, the Melrose Ballroom in Long Island City. And I hope you check it out in person. If you can't make it in person, Court Bauer, in all his benevolence, is providing these pay-per-view style cards for free on YouTube. So check it out.
I love it. I love it. Well, Paul, thank you so much for your time, man. We're big fans of yours, and keep crushing it.
I'd also like to invest in the Teddy Roosevelt film when it
Yeah.
gets made.
Yeah.
Manifesting.
I got some money coming through. Travis Hunter for Heisman.
Love to you guys, and let's do this again in like a year or 2 here.
Yeah.
All right.
Love it.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
so much, man.
Paul Walter Hauser was brought to you by our great friends over at Body Armor. I'm drinking my Body Armor right now. Got their water. I drank several Body Armors on Sunday, keeping me hydrated during the NFL streams. Body Armor is also presenting Surviving Barstool, keeping Big Cat hydrated throughout all the challenges. Surviving Barstool, it takes it out of you. I remember when I did it, it was just like, try to survive. Just survive in advance, and you can't do it without staying super hydrated. Body Armor is delicious. Their sports drink has great tasting flavors like strawberry banana, blue raspberry. It's packed with electrolytes, vitamins, and nothing artificial. Not only do we hydrate with Body Armor, but some of the best athletes in the world do as well, like Christian McCaffrey, Joe Burrow, Sabrina Ionesco. Everybody's drinking Body Armor these days. Get yours today at Walmart or at a local grocery store near you. He was also brought to you by Shake Shack. It's day 3 of the Shake Shack Holiday Burger Blitz. And on the slate today, we have the avocado bacon burger.
Oh, hell yes.
Nothing like avocado and bacon on a burger. Hank, let me get one of the. Let me get avocado bacon.
Fries.
These smell so good. I'm
do
on
smell
a
really
diet,
good.
but I don't care. Diet's over. Dunking is probably most likely.
Yeah.
No!
99.9% not happening. I'm going to enjoy a burger because it smells so good.
This is the perfect burger right here.
Yeah. Love Shake Shack.
Oh my God. It's actually outstanding. This is a burger worth braving a tackle for. Head to Shake Shack, use code BurgerBlitz, and the avocado bacon burger is all yours for free with $10 minimum purchase. How crazy is that? They're giving
love
you a
it.
free burger.
I love it.
$10 minimum purchase. Get your avocado bacon burger for free when you use promo code BurgerBlitz. It's been a great, maybe the best burger blitz of all time.
Yeah. Holiday
This
Burger
year.
Blitz has delivered.
'Tis the season for free Shake Shack burgers. Again, go to Shake Shack, use code BurgerBlitz, and the avocado bacon burger is all yours for free with a $10 minimum purchase. Some terms apply. What was your favorite blitz of the week? Blitz.
Blitz. Blitz. Blitz.
That Vikings defensive end. I know it's not a blitz.
Blitz.
That was a pretty good strip sack.
Yeah. Blitz.
Blitz. The Burger Blitz. Promo code Burger Blitz. Get a free Shake Shack burger with $10 minimum purchase.
It's so good.
Before we do FAQs, well, Hank, you're eating a burger and you're supposed to read FAQs. What?
It's so good.
It's so good. Do you guys, FAQ for you guys, you know how the daylight savings thing is back in the news? Whether we should or we shouldn't, and we're like, hey, wish we had another hour of sunlight in the winter. I'm an idiot. I didn't realize that if we didn't do daylight savings, or I don't even understand the terminology. If we didn't do daylight savings,
Yeah.
it would get dark at like 7:15 in the summer.
Oh,
Never
really?
realized that we'd have to give that up.
The opposite side of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
And
either.
I don't mind
Yeah.
the winter.
Yeah, I don't want that.
I thought
it was like someone.
I thought it only fucked with us.
No, it was like the sun would rise at like 4:45 in the summer and then set at like 7:45.
That's the opposite
That
of what I want
sucks.
in the summer.
Yeah. So just suck it up for the winter. We're 5 days away from the shortest day of the year. We're gonna be on the other side soon.
Yeah, it sucks for like the first week when you're like, oh, it shouldn't be dark this early, but then it's like whatever. It's
Yeah, you
winter.
just get through it.
People that bitch about winter are fucking losers.
Listen,
and also it's cold and it's dark early.
And also,
get over it.
Also, don't
move
bitch,
to California if you don't like it.
Don't
Florida.
bitch about winter until like late January, early February. This is not winter yet because it's holiday season. Everyone's happy. There's football on. This does not count as winter yet.
That's what always fucks with you is that you think, oh, it's going to get dark so early in the wintertime, but then it starts to get longer in January.
Yeah.
Because
we're almost there. December 21st.
Yeah. Also, if you take away daylight savings time, that takes away like 3 hours worth of recurring bits on part of my take.
What are you talking about, bits?
Just think about that. Think about the podcasters.
What are you talking about? What do you mean bits?
Well, because last
you
year...
mean PSAs?
No,
not bits.
Last year, we thought that the clocks went back in the fall.
Oh.
And we fucked that up the
I
entire
think
time.
I think you're thinking of PSAs because we've been bought by big time.
No, we kept saying that it falls back, but it actually goes forward.
Yeah,
it
that
falls
was our
forward
fuck
in the
up.
fall.
That was a bad year for us.
Yeah.
When we did our final year review with Dave, he's like, "Hey, it says here you guys screwed up the daylight savings thing." We're like, "Fuck, man, no excuses. Next year we'll nail it."
Yeah, we have to do 10 minutes in the dungeon for every time we fuck that up.
But seriously, I mean, we're almost there. What is it? Divisional round, January. I think it's January 18th is when we move the clocks back again.
Mm-hmm.
So we're almost there. We've almost made it.
We pretty much made it.
Yeah. Okay, FAQs.
Hey, boys. What will President Pug do about Max's injury? I believe Pug needs to address weekly injuries like midweek coaches' press conferences.
I like that.
We actually need him to do an availability report because I was dealing with a little sickness the last like week and a half of rolling sickness in my house. I was questionable a couple times.
What is Pug doing about healthcare as president on this podcast?
But he needs to give like an update of like how everyone's feeling just so we can set the stage of like, listen, we're football guys. We don't complain. I don't think you guys didn't even know that I was dealing with it. I puked 7 times on Saturday.
Damn. The only reason I would talk about an injury is if it was mandated for me to report it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't want people to know.
Right.
But Pug, you should definitely do a mandated injury report.
Yeah. On how you need to like poll all of us separately how we're doing, and then like game days, you could just do a tweet
or press conference, Instagram live press conference.
But if he's doing it 3 times a week,
we get Pug like a step and repeat that he can stand in front of.
Yeah,
I think he does it once a week. I would like to see a once a week injury report.
But there's game days, show days.
Then
that can be tweets.
Then we have to wait for all the test results to come back, and we'll have more information about his injury as the week progresses.
Yeah.
So I missed the first part. This is just
injury
each show.
reports. Yeah,
Okay.
I think you need to start adding injury reports. Maybe make a graphic, and like maybe it's every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. It doesn't have to be a press conference, but it just says like you can ask all of us how we're doing, just so the listeners know what we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be physical and emotional.
Mental, yeah, of
Anything.
course. Okay. Yeah, people can give you their
Sleep,
answer.
Yeah, I'll start sending you my sleep stats.
Yeah, Bears have me depressed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fat.
Was that for you?
No, but like it
of
might
us.
be in the future.
Yeah. Doubtful. Fat.
Yeah, you'll be like Tom Brady's shoulder. Remember, he was listed like what was like 17 years in a row.
Yeah,
with a
Questionable.
probable shoulder. Okay,
Someone should stay the same every time.
yeah, yeah. Memes,
Angry.
Italian. Yeah,
Limited participant.
Italian non-horny kind.
Hey, PMT gang. My FAQ is how long does it take to write boomers on Sunday for the Monday show? They are always so clever and funny, and I always get a good chuckle out of them.
Oh, thank you.
That's nice. It depends week to week, honestly, depending on what the schedule is. If we have a Bears game or a Commanders game or a really good game like we had last weekend in the late slate, we just put off writing the boomers as long as we can, and then we just write like hell for about, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And also Hank writes his boomer, Memes does his.
That has been a very big
Max
help.
does his.
That's been a very big help. We've gotten a lot more efficient on our Sunday schedule.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about it, like it used to be that we wouldn't be done till 1 or 2 in the morning. We're usually done about 11:30. Shout out the guys in the booth because they stay till like 3 or 4 in the
Also,
morning.
time zones.
But still, like the
New York.
We've gotten very efficient. But yeah, I'm gonna miss football season. I'm very excited for playoffs. I think I said this last week, but I'm excited to like sit down and soak in one single game.
Yeah.
For like, I was thinking about the wild card round the other day. Like, I'm just so pumped to just like one matchup.
You get to focus on individual games.
And they do kind of set you up with like the Christmas, and then they're going to do the Saturday games. So
this is the point of the season though, where we just have a lot of football that doesn't mean anything. So it's like, just get me. I just want to hit the fast forward to the playoffs because it's like I want to let's get this thing on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get it on.
Who would last the longest in a zombie apocalypse? Resources aplenty out of the group, and who would kill themselves first just to get it over with?
It's not. Are we saying like the dead rise? Like everybody that's dead shows up?
Can I make a confession?
I don't like zombies.
I've never been a zombie guy.
I don't like zombies.
Don't like the shows. Don't like the movies. Just doesn't do it for me.
I don't like.
There's nothing. It does nothing for me.
I don't know why everybody decided that like zombies are a thing,
right?
And we're always going to talk about zombies.
What about Planet of the Apes? Like Plague, like you're trying to survive, not zombies per se, but like. There's a plague that's taking over the country. You're trying to survive, or like
what we would do is we would have Dr. Fauci on the program.
Yeah,
that's how
I guess that's zombies.
I think I would survive the exact amount of like average time.
I would probably put myself in the kill myself first. I feel like PFT could survive like just eating random shit.
You live next to the lake though. Just get to water.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what you're supposed
Zombies
to do
can't
instantly.
swim,
Just
right?
get to water. Whatever the thing is, get to water.
I think I'd be okay. Like I would just I could deal with making.
You could just
do.
eat Fritos for like 3 years.
Yeah,
I could do that.
If a nuke hits, you just go underwater for the 5 seconds it hits.
I always thought that was tsunami, like just swim underneath it.
Wait, what? If you thought that the way to survive a tsunami was to jump into the water?
Well, yeah, you know how like when you're in the water and you just go underneath the wave.
Like when you're body surfing.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know if
all these idiots running away from the
that
tidal
might not
wave.
be wrong. That might not be wrong.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Nikki wrote. I think she said she's studying and she must have taken Adderall. She wrote like 5 questions. Who creates the cover graphics for podcast episodes? What is the go-to music for The Office to listen to? And do you guys have a sick Christmas tree in the office?
The graphics is our guy Triggs. He is the goat.
Trig.
What?
Singular.
But isn't it Triggs Draws?
Trig draws.
I think over the years we've just called him Triggs.
I've just added an S. Trig is Triggs. No, it's Triggs. Triggs is the man. He is like so talented. Also hit him up if you want like side work because he does incredible stuff where like he can make all kinds of art and cool things. He's a big sports fan.
He's a very talented artist, and he also does some sick-ass graphics for like college football Saturdays.
Yeah.
Where he shows you exactly what games are on what channel at what time.
Yeah, so his Twitter handle is, what is it?
Trig draws.
Triggs Draws?
No, Trig Draws.
I think it's the S on draws that has me.
It's like when Gilly calls it bar stools.
Yeah. Trig Draws. He's the man. So do hit him up. He's got a shop online that is, the Tiger Woods stuff. Those prints are awesome. But go-to song in the office.
Go-to music
we don't have
in the
any.
office?
No music.
Whatever Brandon Walker paces around the office to at 7 a.m.
Yeah. And then what was the last question?
Do you guys have a sick Christmas tree in the office?
We have one. We have two. I think we have 2.
I wouldn't say that it's sick because it's not live.
No.
Live trees are way better.
Yeah, we have 2.
It reminds. I gotta
cop a tree.
I gotta get my tree. Yeah.
It's like 1 week away.
Yeah. So.
Get it.
But no, you don't understand the way
I
I
got my 2 fakies
operate
out.
with Christmas trees. I
I'm
get
keeping
them
up till February.
a little bit late, and then I
keep up forever.
I get it. I get my fill in on the back end.
Yeah.
That thing's not going to wait
like
till after the Super Bowl.
Daylight savings time is probably when it's time to take the tree down.
Yeah.
It's January 10th.
That's a little early, I guess, but maybe Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, January 18th. Sorry, the divisional round. Okay. You got any more?
No.
Okay, let's wrap up the show. Numbers. Memes, you ever gotten this?
No.
92.
Oh, look at you. This is a new memes.
No.
He's just admitting it. 3.
I did guess it, though.
No,
You didn't get it.
Everyone guesses it every week, every day.
Everyone can guess it. No, you didn't.
I'm guessing 8 for my drug addict quarterback.
All right. 17.
94 Pug.
21.
Okay. Reset. Good luck, memes.
Thanks. Good luck to everybody here, too.
Thanks, memes.
Did you get like a new medication or something?
No.
75.
Love you guys.